the Fishing Gurus podcast.
Happy Christmas, remember that bit. I love you, baby. That's what I remember.
What happened
Keep
to
going,
Jingle
keep
Bells?
Wait till you get going, beats can drop.
Yeah, it's this bit.
Dun, 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 dun,
I still don't know the words. But it's my favourite one.
That might be the best start to a podcast I think we've ever filmed.
It's your favourite one. Go on.
That's the start. Do you want a mince pie?
I would love a mince pie, man.
This is a Christmas special edition.
Mate, I'm so honestly honoured to be here for the Christmas special.
Andy May, welcome to the Fishing Gurus podcast. Tobe, are you allowed to walk over and get one? You can't, can you really?
Well, I can do.
Come
I
on,
can throw you one,
come
Tobe.
and treat yourself.
Mouth
Tobe.
open.
We've got mince pies, courtesy of Andy May, or we've got Christmas buns, or we've got reindeer cakes.
Don't forget the heroes as well.
And we've got a big box of heroes.
Get ready.
This will last us all year.
There may
all
or
these
may
snacks.
not be any whispers in there because it might have already gone. Best chocolate ever, isn't it?
It's great to have you on, mate. Thank you for
honestly,
coming down.
honoured. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
The
I
amount of
just
these
want to
that-
say, when Matt was telling me you were coming down, mate, I was buzzing.
Oh, go
When he
ahead.
said, yeah, I was like, this is going to be a wicked one, this.
I paid you to say that, Anna.
Yeah.
Some notes for
Well
that,
earned
Tom.
money there.
Love you, mate. Thank you.
I've got a few little Christmassy questions to ask you to start with.
Go on, mate.
First one, and I think I know what the answer is going to be to this. Has Andy May ever been fishing on Christmas Day before?
Matt, honestly, it was a tradition. Me and Daddy May used to go every Christmas Day.
Never.
Yeah, from like the age, from what I can remember, about the age of 7 or 8.
How did that work? What happened with like Christmas dinner
So,
and family and
Well,
mum and...
my mum always had horses, so she'd go and sort the horses out in the morning, and then she'd get back, and then me and my sister would go and open the presents, obviously with mum and dad, and then my mum would get the Christmas dinner on. So then it's like, right, me and Daddy May's going fishing. So my dad had already had the car packed, just like a couple of bait aprons, some maggots, one rod, and then we're just going to take goals. We've just gone the River Dane. Oh, we just go on the River Dane, catch some chub, mate, at Biley Bridge. And then we were back home for we probably only go for an hour, 2 hours at the absolute most, get back and then have the dinner, and that was it. Away we go.
I love it.
It was so good.
I've never been. I'd love to go and...
Christmas Day?
Yeah, I'd love to go and catch a
Mate.
fish Christmas Day. It's quite an iconic thing, isn't it?
It's brilliant, because obviously I'd be getting fishing gear as well, Matt. You know what I mean? A lot of my presents was very heavily fishing orientated.
What's the best fishing Christmas present you've ever had?
I'm going to say an Abu Garcia close face reel when I was
Really?
7, mate. It was. Remember, I don't know, you won't remember them, but the Gold Max ones,
Can't remember that.
like the big doozy ones, the Gold Max ones. Daddy May, Santa got me one.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. So I went put line on it straight away, and me and my dad went, and I remember catching 4 or 5 great big chubs, and then come back and was like, I want to go again. And it was getting dark by this point. You know what I mean?
Love it.
So good, mate.
Absolutely love it.
It was brilliant.
What you got planned this year, mate? Obviously, it's a bit different now. Couple of young uns.
Yeah,
What's
definitely.
the plan?
So we take it in turns, Matt. Obviously, last year was a bit different, but we take it in turns having mums and dads round. So this year it's me and my wife and kids' turn to have my mum, dad, and my wife's mum and dad down, the in-laws.
Look at that.
There we are.
Picture of the gang there.
Yeah, so we've got wife Louise, and then daughter Leah, son Ollie, and then we've got Choppers, we've got Chewy the Chucky lab. We've got another addition to the family now.
Look
There's
at
not on
Ollie's
there.
green hair on there.
I know.
Come
I
on,
know.
Ol.
That's mega,
I think this is 2 years ago. So obviously they've grown up a bit now. They'll love you for showing that picture. look at Elfie there, the elf on the shelf. He's got
Bless him.
It's brilliant.
So you're having...
So we've got all family round this time.
Daddy May's coming round.
Daddy May's coming round, my mum, and then me in-laws as well. It's awesome. Love Christmas.
Fantastic.
It's phenomenal, mate. Really
awesome,
is.
mate. You've mentioned Daddy May a couple of times already. I'm assuming he played a big part in getting you into fishing in the first place, did he?
Mate, probably the most out of anyone. Obviously, there's a few other people that I'll mention, but my dad ultimately started me off when I was around 3-year-old. My earliest memory is from right back then. I can remember vividly, and obviously I've got pictures that I've shown you. You know what I mean? When I was well young.
Yeah.
Then obviously as you sort of go a little bit older, you start mixing with other people and that, and then they take you under the wing and that. Dave Costello, I've got to give a massive mention to, and all from Davidson Middlewich.
I can always remember seeing Dave's tackle shop advertising when I used to read all your
Look
articles.
at him there.
Is that him on screen
He's only
now?
he's only 4'6".
He stood on a step.
And you still tower
Oh,
over
what
him.
a bloke he is. He doesn't live in this country anymore. He lives in Spain. His daughters, Anne-Marie and Julie, run that shop now.
So it's all still going as Dave's
All still
the
going.
middleweight.
Yeah, all still going. It's the best tackle shop in the world, man.
You always used to have your bags of casters from there, didn't you, when we used to go on features?
Now big were they? They're massive.
Yeah.
They ain't shrunk any, mate.
Throw them 15, 16 metres.
Mate, I'm 20 metres now. Get ready. Supersonic left bicep, innit? Now what? Mate, he's all the way out. Don't need catapults where we're going. But yeah, he's got to get a special mention as well. He's looked after me since I was like 6-year-old, Matt.
Amazing.
Proper looked after me. I'll tell you some more stories later
And does
on,
he
but-
still come back into England, Dave? Or?
Yeah, he'll get back like once or twice a year, and I'll always make a point of going seeing him, obviously. But yeah, it's just a amazing shop and amazing people. As I say, to look after someone for that long, it's brilliant, mate.
It must be nice for him, because obviously we've got a lot to talk about, but he's seen you grow up through it all. Just
Yeah.
like Daddy May, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. It's you can't imagine. Obviously, I'm living it a bit now with my lad, and it's my dad is sort of like living it through my boy and like my sister kids as well. It must be amazing for them to see like what kind of like steps that they're taking from one to the next and what levels they're getting to in their life. Basically, it's brilliant, mate.
When did you go from just going fishing with Daddy May and catching a few fish, that pleasure fishing? When did you make the step into that competitive side of it, match fishing, that next step up?
Matt, I was right young. I was 6 when I fished my first junior match. 6-year-old when I fished my first junior match. But back then, and we'll probably have a chat about this later on, there was a lot more junior clubs. I was probably part of, I'm going to say 6 or 7 that I can name off the top of my head, like junior angling clubs. And there'd be loads on, like, even through the winter, Saturdays, occasional Sundays, but obviously more so through the summer. So there was no, I wasn't sort of like spoiled of where to go. I could like pick and choose. It was brilliant. But I can remember going from when I was 6 years old, a little pond basically in Middlewich, right near where I live now, called Holt's Pool. I won my first ever junior match.
And how old were you then?
6.
That's when you was
Yeah.
6.
I've got a picture of it now, so I'll show it you later. I've
Oh,
literally
I'll have a
got
look.
like a couple of carp and like a massive big roach, the obligatory perch and a gudgeon and all that. It was amazing. So I won that with something like £6. And then I fished my first senior match, dead young, Matt. I was 8 or 9 when I fished my first senior match. Again, that was on a little pond through Middlewich Joint Anglers. They had another little lake that had that Holt's Pool called Spring Pool. And it was basically, it's like a commercial snake lake now, basically. It had like 30 pegs on it, but it was like 60 metres wide. But back then it looked like the other side of the sea or something. Like, looked massive. Like, whoa, we're going there again, Dad. I want to try and cast to the other side this time. And it was full of little crucians. Joint third best fish in the world, mate.
I love crucians, mate.
Amazing.
When they bite your hook, like they're like, aren't they?
Mate, I never saw a bite. I'd just like go to like bring it in and there'd be one on.
Can't get your disclosure in the mouth.
Float would have been like that far out. You wouldn't have seen bites of crucians back then. If only we knew now what we never knew then, you know what I mean? But yeah, so fished a senior match on there. I think I won my first senior match on there as well. Only like £3, but it's just like a few crucians. It was amazing. And ever since then, I just had the bug. I just can't get enough of fishing.
At what point, because obviously you've quickly got into senior fishing, like you speak to a lot of people and they fish the first match into the, 10, 11, and then they're a teenager before they've even started fishing senior matches.
Yeah,
you were
man.
so young.
Yeah.
Surely that must have been a massive advantage to you and your fishing, getting so fast-tracked into senior fishing. You think that really helped push you on quickly?
Oh, massive. I mean, you've got to obviously bear in mind there's no commercials out still yet. So it's all natural waters, like little natural ponds and reservoirs, canals, rivers. But yeah, mixing Kevin Ashurst, mate, mixing with the likes of him.
Did you used to fish with Kevin?
Yeah, he's fishing the same matches as him.
Amazing.
On the likes of the Weaver and, the Bridgie and places like that. Lim Dam's another one where I saw. I can vividly remember going watching my dad on a night match on Lim Dam. I'd have only been 7 or 8. And Big Kev drew under this like massive tree that like it was renowned for like holding bream. It's the first time I'd ever seen a pole. He had his Shimano, I think it was a Diaflash or something like that. It might not have been around that era. And he like absolutely annihilated him. He had a £40 of bream. I was sat with my dad, but I was just like that. Just watching him. It was just amazing to witness. And the first words he spoke to me is when I want. Can we talk about that match now on the Weaver?
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Go on.
So when I was 12 years old, this is my first like major open senior match win. It was on the River Weaver at Northwich, 100 peg, help the ages match.
Big match for 12-year-old, 100 peg.
It
plus.
was a massive match. And I'll give you a bit of the background about it first. You have to stop me if I'm waffling on, man.
No,
you know what
no,
I mean? I'm
go,
just getting
mate.
into them already. Like, you've got all these down, I'm getting into them already. So yeah, it was a beginning of the season. It was June the 16th. Now, all week, my dad had been saying, go easy with the feed, son. You know, obviously, opening day of the season, fish aren't going to be used to bait or anything, this, that, and the other. I'm like, by that time, I like feeding. That's where I get it from now. I just love feeding.
Oosh, get some bait.
Get some baiting. And like, you look at the lineup, I knew Kevin would be fishing it. It's like, obviously, like for me, it's like, oh my.
So you didn't
word.
know him to talk to at this point?
Not really, no. Knew him to say all right to him. My dad would say all right to him as well.
Because Kevin was like my granddad's hero, my
Oh,
dad's
mate.
hero.
Yeah,
So many
well,
generations.
My dad's
Yeah.
exactly the same. You know what I mean? He's like, say hello to me, dad, because he knew him from fishing the Weaver and like to Lim Dam and places like that. So yeah, so it was opening day of the season. Went in the car park and there he is in his Shimano jacket. Kevin Ashes. And I was like, right, Kevin. He's like, all right, Steve. I'm like, right, Sonny, what? I didn't know what to do. So then obviously we've gone and drawn our pegs, and I didn't have a clue at the time. 494 meant nothing to me. It was the M peg on the river, right next to like the old river they call it, like a little inlet.
All right. Is that the peg that does well on Riverfest match now?
It might be, but I think there's another peg further down where there's an inlet. It's on boats.
Right.
I think that's that one. I've got another story to tell about that one actually.
Do
but
this first one first.
That's like that a bit further on.
First story first.
Sorry, mate. I'm getting ahead of myself. I've got so many to talk about. You ain't going away for 3U, mate. I tell you that, Tobes. So yes, I've drawn my peg. Got to. It's like it seemed like miles and miles to walk. Obviously, this is without trolleys or anything like that. So I've got my blue plastic Shakespeare box over one shoulder, old all over the other. Like literally a keep net in one hand, my landing net in the other. Then inside my landing net, I've got me tub of maggots, bag of ground bait bowl, some bank sticks, and then off we go. But it's probably only like 50 metres. But for me, like a 12-year-old, it seemed ages. So I've got to my peg. Set rig, like one rig does all, one top kit. That's all they had then. They had a Daiwa Jaguar match light, the pole was.
Wow.
I'd not been pole fishing for long, you know what I mean? I'd literally not had a pole for long. It had like number 6's Zim elastic in it.
I can remember Zim elastic.
Yeah, boy, number 6's Zim elastic in it. And I had my favourite float. And by this time, it started off about that long, Matt. It was like, I'm going to say it was like 2 gram. It was like a burgundy colour, but it was like all cane stem. So, of course, like every now and again, I'd break a bit off. So, like, by this time, it's about that short, including the bristle that was about that long. So, obviously, it's real top heavy.
You used to use that one float for everything.
One float for everything. Even for, like, fishing on canals and for, like, whatever, everything.
That was your float. That was your
my
pole
float.
rig.
Like, I'd open my box and have loads of other floats, but I'd see this one and be like, oh, yeah, I'm using it. Like, use me, Andy, use me. So, I'd, like, pick it out straight away. I'd never used to have them on winders or anything like that, as you know. You know,
just made them up on bank.
Just make them up on bank. So we'd have been on Bay Appeal and all Maxima main line, and then the hooks to nylon, the German hooks to nylon. Tied it on, and I'm going to say I had like 9 or 10 foot, something like that. But this float used to take like the required short of 2 gram. We're probably down to about 1 gram now. But obviously there's a lot of fish there, so I'll put some balls of ground bait in at the start.
Threw them.
Through him, mate. There was no pole pots then, mate. No pole pot. I had my pre-baiting period, Matt. So I'd fed like that for 5 minutes, not expecting much. And bearing in mind, my dad had said, don't feed much, hand. I'm like, yeah, all right, Dad. So I mixed my bag of magic up. I love magic. Use magic everywhere.
Smells gorgeous,
Senses magic
doesn't it?
everywhere. Miles too light for the river, but it's one of them. You know the weave. It doesn't flow that much anyway. So I put this bait in. On with the worm, and it's gone straight away. I've had a bream. Well, been a skimmer, but I've had one. Then I've had another one. Then I've had a tench. And then I've had an eel. Never ever caught an eel before.
Never.
I've told this story before to like Winning Ways members. So I've had this eel, got it in my net. I'm like, oh, it's an eel. I went and showed like 5 or 6 people. Look at this. I've caught an eel. Went and showed loads. Like, yeah, not taking much interest in me. So I'm like, oh, no one's bothered. I didn't have any phones or anything like that, so I couldn't ring anyone. So I had to go and show him. So I've come back, put that in my net, carried on. But then this eel kept coming to me top of the keep net. So I was like feeding it. I'm fishing away, but I'm still feeding this eel. I couldn't get enough of it. And I've had a few more tench in the bream and ended up... obviously, all out came, and I've weighed 23.4 and I've won the match, like £14 with second.
That's a brilliant river weight, even nowadays, isn't it?
I couldn't believe it. It was
12
amazing.
years old.
12 years old. So walking back past everyone, And Kevin was still fishing. He drew right down by the car park. I'm not sure the page where the road goes over the river. I come up to him and said, "I believe you won it. I believe I've won it, lad." Yeah. And then that was it. It was like, oh, Kevin spoke to me. So yes, obviously they did the presentation, and in first place, young whippersnapper Andy May, only 12-year-old with £23.4, and I'm like, oh, what do I do, Dad? Go and get the money, son. So I walked up, got my envelope, that 175 quid in it, and back then. There's a lot of pennies. Daddy May's like, that'll do for me, son. And I remember after going into school like the day after, and telling everyone,
walking in like a bowler, I reckon.
I'm like, yeah, here we go. Come on, where's my red carpet? Teachers talking about it, and then our local paper did like a write up on it, and it just happened to appear in the school at like assembly, like one of our pupils who's done really well in the competition. It was amazing.
That's a big thing, though. 12-year-old, 100 peg fishing competition.
Yeah, man. And then from there, like, wow, everything just seemed to happen from like then on, if you like. Yeah, it was just brilliant. Obviously, that's when I joined that team. I feel as though I'm getting ahead of myself.
No. Tell me what happened next, because there's quite a famous team, that neck of the woods. I'll let you tell everyone who it is.
But
Van der Nine team, from what I remember.
So when I was like 13, well, then it was like Van der Nine Northern Select Youth, it was called.
That's the one.
Proper mouthful.
And who were in that team, Andy?
Right, so I'm going to mention Lewis Breeze. I'm going to mention him quite a bit, because he's like, we grew up fishing together on the Weaver and all that.
Brilliant angler, lovely bloke.
Awesome angler. Can do everything,
yeah.
But like naturals is what he specialises in. Just smashes everyone to bits.
I know, he won the other day on Weaver, didn't he?
He's awesome,
he won a match
mate.
the other day.
He just like, he's one of them who'll just like, thinks about it meticulously. Gets like he gets right angry if he loses one though.
Does he?
Oh, he won't mind me admitting it. He gets honestly just
how angry? Go on.
What was the worst thing you've seen him do?
Javelin the top kit.
Never.
Oh mate, honestly, he just gets a right rage on. Yeah, he proper turns into the whole.
I didn't see him being like that.
He's so like placid and laid back and calm. Don't get on the wrong side of Breezy, Matt. That's it. He's gone. Done,
great guy, Lewis Breeze.
He gets like that little thing in his eyes, like, oh, no, done, dusted. But awesome angler. So it was likes of him. Johnny Jowett was in the team then.
Amazing.
Lee Addy.
Lee
Addy was in it. A lad called Ian Bilderman. There's Richard Will. Matt Forster. He fishes Bradshaw's a bit now.
Yeah.
There's a few others who obviously like really good back then. They don't really fish anymore, because like, life takes over itself.
There's 4 or 5 there that still go fishing now and at a really high level still.
Yeah, definitely. And then we just started going all over the place, and like by then it was all like just taking everything in. We used to have Mark Addy come to the house of Chris Durant, who ran our team. I never mentioned this bloke, Chris Durant, but I'd say along with me, my dad and Dave Costello, he was massive for me, Matt.
What did he do to help you out, Andy?
Just pushed me, entered me for the England trials, but he was just there. He was like, as a guide and a mentor, and he knew all these top anglers. So we just used to invite him down to his house when we had like a team meeting. We just like talking and, just like sponges back then at that age.
So you used to get people like Mark Addy to come and talk to you
Mark
young
Addy
uns about fishing?
Yeah, definitely.
That were awesome.
Mate, it was amazing. And then he ran competitions like the Youth Classics.
Yeah.
So at Morelands Farm we had one. We used to have them we had them all over the place. Broadacres, we had another one. But Morelands Farm was the main one. There was another one, Cheshire Fishing. Have you heard of Cheshire Fishing?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Cheshire Fishing had the first one, but I was only like, literally when I just got in the team, I was 12. And they never picked me, Matt.
Oh, no.
I was devastated. Picked Lewis, so.
What happened?
I think it's because he had a bit of rage on. He's like, oh, better pick him. Got a bit of rage on.
Might throw a top kit at me.
Might go flying right in your eye. So they picked him. But yeah, I was left out and I was devastating.
Right.
Daddy May's like, shouldn't have left you out, son. But then, Chris is like, because Daddy May's pretty big chap. And he's like, Chris is like, well, we had to leave him out. We didn't know what he'd be like. So he's one of them. But you can understand it. Obviously, the anglers that they had.
Yeah.
Amazing anglers, and they won it. I think they won every section on both days.
Fair play.
So the year after, it was at Morelands Farm, and I got left out on the first day, but then I got picked the second day. Did rubbish like, but I still got picked, so it was all right. And that was when I was 13, Matt. That was my first sort of foray into commercials. That's the first commercial I'd ever fished was Moreland's Farm.
Which is interesting. So you basically, till you got to that age, only fished natural venues.
All natural venues.
Interesting.
Now,
and what were commercials like then, Andy? What were it like going to like Morelands, and what were your first? Because you were right in the moment when it went from natural fishing and rivers and canals and lakes, and then all of a sudden they came on the scene. And you were a young angler growing up in that. What were it like to go and fish for these different fish on a different kind of venue?
So I'd read lots of stories about it. Obviously, Gold Valley, we were raising at Gold Valley. And then Kieran Rich at Morelands and the likes of Grant Albert and that. They were fishing Morelands then. And the weights, my biggest ever match weight up until I was, I'm going to say 14 or 15, that was like that 23 pound 4 on a weaver.
12-year-old.
Yeah, that was my biggest ever match weight. So like when you're seeing these weights are like 40, 50 pound, and then every now and again you see 100 pound, like, Dad, have they fished for a week to catch 100 pound? No, they can't catch 100 pound in like 5 hours. Not a chance. But yeah, the first time ever, I'm going back a bit now, sorry Matt.
No, it's fine.
Waffle. So like the first time I went to Morelands, I remember it vividly. I drew peg 7 on Meadopool. So the big,
I've never been. I've never been.
Oh, you've never been?
Morelands. I've never been, so I don't know it.
Those of you that know Morelands Farm, Meadowpools is the biggest lake, and where I drew, there's like a road in between Middle and Moors, and then you've got a meadow on the other side of the little road. But I was right stuck in a corner. But I wasn't bothered, mate. I wasn't bothered about stuck in a corner. I'm fishing a venue that's got like these carp in. I've not really caught that many carp before, to be fair. Didn't have a clue about what gear to use or anything like that. Only what Mark Addy told us.
Right.
But of course, I know best, or Daddy May knows best, doesn't I? I wasn't on that. So I was fishing away, and then Kenny Giles, yeah. Kenny Giles, yeah. Kenny Giles come behind me. He like tapped me on the shoulder. I'm not even going to attempt to do a Brummie accent because I can't do one.
Go on, have a go.
You've got to do it now. You've put yourself out there.
No, what, Bobby? No. So he's like tapped me on the shoulder. He says, Andy,
go on, what did he do?
You'll not catch anything with that rig. Sorry for all you Birmingham people out
Comment's
there.
Going to light up now.
Sorry. Yeah.
You better pick a Birmingham person to win the competition at the end.
Oh, yeah, Rich, get on it. So I brought it back, and he's showing me, like, you're not fishing for perch and roach. I'd had a full-scale bloodworm rig on that. So, like, you remember the old census floats with wire all the way through?
Yeah.
It's like 1 mil bristle, but it's all white wire.
Wire bristle.
That's basically what I had on.
Put a 13 on and they sank.
Not even that, yeah. Just like a little bit of dirt on the grease or something, it sank. That's what I had on. And I was fishing like double pinkies. And everyone else is fishing like worm. The method then was squats, blasting loads of squats in. Dave Howell come up with it, blasting loads of squats in for these like massive bream. I said massive, they're like 5 or 6 pound, but back then you're like, whoa, never seen anything that big.
Awesome.
So we changed a few things around. I didn't have any other floats, only had these. Changed a few things around, put like double maggot on, and I caught a bream straight away. And that was the only fish I had. It was like 4 pound and something, but that was the only fish I had. Like last in my section, last on the lake, but I'm like, wow, size of these fish. And then started going down there a few more times, and that's when it all started. But that rig, and just the fact I can vividly remember it now, it tapped me on the shoulder. Let's have a look at that rig. Brought it back, changed a few things around, like just kept on tutting at my float because it was completely wrong. And then we just like start from there. But like it's things like that you don't know until you're like out there and put in that environment. But with that team, that Van der Nine Northern Select, and with Chris Durant, he always used to say it's Chris Durant as in current, but with a D. That's what he always used to say. I always remember that.
You'll never forget that.
I'll never ever forget it. And obviously the likes of him, who I've not mentioned before, but he was a massive influence on my fishing career. And then from there, obviously, that's when it started going off with England and what have you.
Well, obviously, I know you fished in the England youth setup, and that come after all this, and you got picked a couple of times and went away to 2 different places. But what were your England journey? Because you didn't get picked straight away, did you?
Let me tell you. Are you ready?
Come on.
Are you ready for another waffle talk?
I want the England journey.
Right. So my first trial was when I was 13. I've actually got a picture of it in here.
That's young, that, Andy.
30.
That's young.
I might have been 14 now. I'm sure we're 13.
Wow.
Hang on. Yeah, I might have been 14 then.
Still young.
Yeah, he's young. And bearing in mind back then, Matt, it was only one England junior team. It was 18s and under, or under 19s.
So you're up against it that young anyway, aren't you?
Yeah. So I've gone to the trial, and it was at Willow Park.
Yeah.
Not really done loads of fishing with bloodworm and joker before, Matt. So, and a few weeks before this, my dad had just bought me, been out and spent loads of money on a brand new Shimano Diaflash.
What's that, a pole?
Pole. You not heard of Shimano Diaflash?
I've heard of it, yeah.
Mate, so before that, all I'd had was this like Daiwa Jaguar Max Light or Max Heavies. Like me and Lewis had the same pole. It was Daiwa Jaguar Max Heavy. It was like, it was only 11.5 metre
No
pole.
wonder you've got big muscles.
Mate, but nice. Toilets that way, mate. I used to use it as a landing net handle. That's how heavy it was. I used it as a landing net handle for ages, that Daiwa pole. Yeah, man. So Dad had been out and bought me this like Shimano Diaflash. Only had 2 top kits. And I've been practicing on some farm ponds, you know, bowling it in, filling it in, pre-baiting period, this, that and the other. But as I said, I'd never really done much bloodworm joker fishing other than fishing for little babby perch on the likes of a place called Pillsworth and Compstill Reservoir. That's the only time fishing I'd done for it. No waggler rods or anything like that then. I mean, obviously I was used to fishing it, but we didn't set anything like that up. It was Roy Jeffries who was in charge then.
So he was England manager at the time.
He was
Roy
England
Jeffries.
manager, Roy Jeffries.
What
yeah.
was Roy like? I never much
never
about
spoke
him.
to him.
Right, wow.
Never spoke to him, mate. To be fair, you know when you're in the court in a trial, if you're in the middle. So straight away, I'm at the end.
Got you.
It's sort of like, I remember it being like a flat bank, and then it sort of like comes around a little bit, and I was on this little bit of a mound. So we had this like joker, didn't have a clue what to do with it. Daddy May's like that, fill it in. Didn't have any pole pots or anything like that. So I'm just like that.
No wonder you like throwing bait in it. Just fill it in, young'un.
So I've mixed my ground bait again. Senses magic. Nah, that'll be right. No leam or anything like that. Oh no, didn't know about leam then. And I've just got this joker. Remember it? Raw joker. Just picked out the newspaper. Give it one of them, and it's landed. I'm gonna say it's landed like 3 meters short of like where I was fishing. But I'm like, yeah, that'd be right. And then the next thing I know, Roy Jeffries is like there. So obviously he's been watching what's going on, and he's seen where this joker's landed. And I pretended to like feed it short and fish past it.
You pretended
to?
Yeah.
Didn't have a bite on it. But then I've gone a bit further past it eventually, and I've had like 3 massive perch and a tench. I've done really well in like the match that we were having. I was like probably in the top 4, but didn't get looked at. So that was that one. And then the year after, so we're up to 15 now, was my trial on the Gloucester Canal. Yeah. And again, got put straight on the end. And
was it the same manager or different manager?
No, so Downs is in charge now.
So this is Mark's first.
Yeah, Mark Downs is in charge
now. Quite a monumental moment, that, mate. Mark Downs coming in as manager.
I want to say there's quite a few on the trial. I bet there was 30, 35, possibly 40 of us.
Think about this. Mark, that was the first year Mark did it then.
Yeah.
And he's still in charge now. That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So quite a moment.
Oh, awesome, mate. Yeah, proper.
And how did that go, Gloucester Canal?
To be fair, so the first trial, because we had either 2-hour trials or 2 3-hour trials on the same day, something like that.
Because they used to swap you, didn't they? Swap you about in the afternoon.
If you were in the mix, they did. Matthew, if you were in the mix, I may or may not have been. Now, let me tell you. So, first trial, I did all right. I had a few skimmers. I had some rough, had some daddy rough and some perch and that. Again, didn't have a clue what I was doing. Fished my favourite float still. It's about this long by now.
The same one?
Same one.
Never.
Not that long now.
Have you still got this float?
No, not mate. That's
been
long.
I wish that, wouldn't it?
I'm gonna have to get someone to make a replica of it, aren't
Yeah,
definitely.
So I fished that on the short line, and I've done like a proper one for out, and I've done all right. And then Downs has come along and says, right, stay on the same peg. And then my head's gone a bit on the second trial because I'm like, I've caught a few fish. I've done all right here. Why is he not putting me in the mix? But it's one of them when you've got anglers. I think Richard Taylor was in it that year. Mark Pitchers might have been, or he might have been the year after. Anyway, there's some like good key anglers, obviously still fishing now, that were in the mix, so they didn't want to move them, and so they just left us where we were. So that didn't go according to plan because my head went a little bit basically. So fast forward to when I was 16, and then we were on the Trent Embankment in Nottingham. Mate. So me and Lewis got a trial for this one as well. So we'd been practicing loads, obviously. Not really been on the Trent much. I've been a few times with my dad and what have you. But obviously we were so used to fishing rivers. Like likes of the Weaver and the Dane. I used to go on the Severn quite a bit with my dad as well. So we thought we got it nailed. It was like bollo fishing. No pole fishing. It was all bollo fishing, and just like a little sticks down, just sort of like off the end of your rod.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was weird.
Bit different for an England trial.
It might not have been what he wanted, but it's what I wanted to do, Matt. Let me tell you, mate.
Everyone else is balling it.
Everyone else is balling it on a pole, thump. But no, I'm fishing the stick float, Matt, today. And he's put me on the end to start with, but then he's put me with a lad called Rory Mason.
I've heard that name.
Rory Mason. He's just sort of like got back into fishing again now. Awesome bloke. And I think he must have got picked from the canal, Gloucester Canal, because he was. I knew he was right in the mix because obviously he was in the team. You know, all the Drennan team. All I wanted, Matt, back then was an ASI box.
ASI.
I wanted me England ASI box.
Did you get one of them if you got picked for the team?
Yes.
Wow.
So like I saved up money. Sorry, I'm waffling a bit now. So I'm waffling again.
Mate.
So like I reckon I'd saved up money for about 2 years to buy myself one of these. And Dave's given me a little bit of a discount. I've gone in. It was a burgundy ASI box, double jaws at the side. None of these front jaws, double jaws at the side. I wanted like 2 little babby front jaws and one at the side. Didn't have one.
Is it
Oh,
is
no.
it something like that?
Yes, that's it. That's my box. Look at the pole holder and everything. What are you doing
Bob,
with my
nudge
box on there,
Bob
Tom?
Nudge
We're
used to have
magic
one of
man.
them.
Oh, mate, look at it. Oh, stop it. You're going to have to get rid of that picture, Tobbs. So, yeah, so that boat and that thing that's resting on the bottom, that's your side tray, Matt.
No,
Yeah,
get
boy.
away.
So, I couldn't afford the pole support. So
How much were they then?
350 quid.
A lot of money back then, that.
A lot of pennies back then. But I've saved my pennies up for like my pocket money, this, that and the other.
Match
And
wins.
Went and bought that box. So I rocked up with that box thinking, yeah, I'm cool. And then Rory's come with his England box. I'm like, yeah. Proper foot plate on and everything. Two front jaws and like one cross jaw. I'm like, where's the England one on there? Is it like 4th one in on the bottom? That looks like an England one with a foot plate. That's it. That one there. The one to the left, that one.
Yeah, yeah,
That looks
yeah.
like an England one. It's got them colours like pinky colour on it. That might have been the older one, that. So yeah, so he's like rocked up and like all his rods were done up, Matt. All his rods are like all unwind is ready done up. I'm like, I've still got to do man. I've still got to put my line through the eyes and everything. And he's like, I always remember it. He's like welded it right across to the far bank. I'm thinking, flipping heck, I can't cast that far. I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm just like proper old school. I've never done the bollo casting over your head.
Always
Obviously,
done the side swipe.
Always done the side swipe. Yeah, because I like stick float fishing and that. So I'm like seeing these lads, like another couple who've like obviously been picked for England from the previous year. They're all like welling it across.
And these are
I'm like,
older lads than you as well.
yeah, older lads who'd fished the previous year. So I'm like, can't see down, so I'm going to have a go. Wallop! Rod just like folds like that. I'm like, oh no.
Snapped.
Yeah, just
No.
folding half. I'm like, I ain't got another rod. And I borrowed this rod as well. So I'm like,
no.
what do I do? So I had to get my stick float rods out. So like got 2 14-foot stick float rods, some Drennan ones. And I did all right, caught a few fish, but then team orders were for like the afternoon session. I got moved again, but I was in the middle, so I was in the pack. Bollo. I've not got a bollo. So I had to borrow Lewis's rod because he was at the end, so he's borrowed me his rod. And I did all right. I caught a few skimmers and that. Thought I did all right, but again, the reason he didn't pick me was because I was too young. So I mean, 16.
16 at
Yeah, I
that
was being
point.
too young. But then you look at some of the teams now and like they're picking them younger. But you know, it's one of them. Got to respect the decision. But no, it's one of them. So then,
Did you beat the lads around you?
yeah, beat them around me.
So you beat the people who was already in the England team.
Yes.
So it must have been you must have been right
I was
in the mix.
proper gutted, mate. To be
Yeah.
fair, I've come away like. I mean, of course, you get a bit gutted now about fishing. Fishing's fishing, isn't it? You know what I mean? But when it's in your hands to do something about it, and I perform what I thought to the best of my ability, I'm like, yeah, we got this. We're gonna do all right.
Did you think you were going to get picked?
I did, mate. Yeah. Like, the thing about my dad as well, he'd always sort of like be watching me, this, that, and the other. He travelled with Chris Durant that day, and they went fishing on the. I think it's Grantham. What's the canal? Is it Grantham? Oh, Beeston Canal.
Beeston Canal.
They went and fished on the Beeston Canal, so just let me and Lewis get on with it. And then he come back at the end, and the scene I'd done all right. Like, yeah, here we go. But yeah, I never got picked.
Right.
I might have got like a special mention kind of thing, you know, lads who've done well but just a little bit too young. So obviously that's put me in down to his eyesight kind of thing. So then I fast forwarded again, aren't I, Matt?
No, it's good. Keep
Right,
it
mate.
moving.
So
Saving
then-
me a job here, mate.
Mate,
You're 17 now. Just to move it on, Andy's now 17,
So,
and
yeah.
he's going to the
Right,
next
so-
trial at.
Before we get to the trial,
Yeah.
or should we talk about the trial first? Yeah, no, let's talk about the trial first, and I'll like rewind.
So this is your 1, 2, 3. This is your fourth attempt at getting into the England junior team.
and-
Sorry, I just want to jump in.
Go ahead,
Andy.
Tobes.
With your 4th attempt at going for the England
All right,
team.
mate, don't rub it
No,
in.
but without sounding like I'm rubbing it in, what was your, as a young lad, what was your mindset before going into that? Because you must have...
I just wanted my SI box, Tobes.
So you still
I
had
wanted me
that
to in
was-
the
that was
SI
your
box.
goal.
I wasn't bothered about representing my country. I just wanted my box. Once I got my box, that's it. Right, come on, Dad, we're going. I'm not
But
bothered about going
you weren't
anywhere.
nervous or you weren't second guessing it? Or
No,
anything
I think
like that?
because I'd fished like that, that kind of like that style of fishing from such an early age against like the top anglers like that. It's Kevin Asher's, like the top anglers, Mark Addy and people like that. That no, it didn't really affect me at all. You know what I mean?
I
That's
think
quite
that-
an impressive level of confidence for someone at that age. Because even now, I'd have struggled there personally. So that's quite
I
impressive.
think if you're thrown into it without doing any style of fishing beforehand, then yeah, it will be a bit nerve wracking.
Yeah.
But because I'd
You knew you
already
were the
done
man,
there, I'd
weren't
been
you?
there.
That's
Yeah,
why.
it didn't bother me at all. And Daddy may give me a crack every now and again. You know what I mean? So under pressure from the start, Tobes. You know.
I think honestly, what you've said there between you two, right? I see it so much. You know, like with the talent pathway or Match Academy and all the junior events that we do now.
Yeah.
Right. The stars or the ones that stick out the most every single time
Yeah.
are the young anglers who fish against adults
Yeah.
at a really young age. And you started talking about that at the start of the podcast, and obviously it's not done you any harm doing it. And I say to him, I don't know if it's right as a coach to say it or not, but push yourself and fish against the best you can, fish against adults as young as you can.
Yeah.
Like, you literally can't get any better than...
You can't not learn that.
Exactly.
Fishing, you never ever stop learning. Even now, you're still learning. The likes of Bennett and Jamie and all that. You never ever stop learning. There's always something.
The parents often say to you, what can I do to, get little Jimmy?
Yeah.
Where does he need to be now? And I'll say, look, put all that junior stuff to one
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Go and fish big matches.
Yeah.
Go and fish big open matches. Go and fish festivals. Do you know what I mean? Against adults.
I suppose at a young age, you like you said, Andy, you don't know any different.
No.
So even when you're at that level, it's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same as what you've been doing.
You've been doing it for like years and years.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what
You're
I mean?
ahead,
It's-
aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. It's just that mindset. You know what I mean? It's completely different.
So, Gold Valley.
Right, yeah. So we'll talk about Gold Valley first, and then we'll rewind. So,
Gotta
yeah.
take a rewind.
Or should we? Right, yeah. In the lead up to Gold Valley, and I'm going to rewind more after this in a bit.
Right.
Me and Lewis have been practicing pretty much every night because it was summer. We've been going to a local lake called Sheikh Lamia, which is like it's like a nature reserve, but it's got some massive right wobbly carps and used to have like loads of roach and skimmers in and all that, but cormorants.
Munched them all.
But we weren't bothered about catching fish. It was all about practice for us. So we'd go down every night, 2 or 3 waggler rods, sorted all our lines out. Now, I'll mention it now, Matt, and then it'll settle in for later because you'll understand why I'm mentioning it. I could hit the spot every time because of the line I was using. It was Water Queen line, and it was 0.014 diameter, but it was 6 pound breaking strain.
Wow.
But because it's a high-tech line as opposed to real line, you'll see where I'm coming to later on, yeah? But I won't bother then. Could hit the spot every time with like a 4 gram waggler, and then put like it was sticky mags at the time, so we practiced sticky mags. It was Horlicks. We couldn't afford like the centre stuff, so it was all Horlicks and like gravel on it and all that. So we got our mix perfect. Everything was going bang on. I'd go and have a go with Lewis's gear. He'd come and have a go with mine. And we're like every time like as big as this table, we could get like the maggots landing.
And how
where
far
they
could
float.
you cast that waggler? And
We were chucking them between sort of like 25 to 40 yards, something like that, or meters. I always get shouted at by Rich for saying yards.
meters,
It's
yards,
is it? It
feet.
doesn't matter. This is meters, isn't it? Yeah, 25 to 40 meters, where I thought we'd need. And the maggots were going perfect every time because of this line, nice and fine, no friction or anything like that. Just give it a little flick. Oh mate, it was going in perfect every time. So me and Lewis have turned up proper confidence at Gold Valley. So by this time, there's some new lads coming into the mix. Ian Boothby, a lad called Matt Bramley, Michael Sanders, Stevie Sanders' lad. Who else? Mark Pitchers,
Some great names.
Richard Taylor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're all in a line. I was in this line of him, and Lewis is a little bit further down because obviously Downs had seen from the previous year on the Trent, and we'd obviously had the Morelands Youth Classic as well that he used to come to and watch that, which I'll come back to later.
You're in his eye line at this point, aren't you?
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
So I've got Michael Sanders one side, who fished Gold Valley all the time, but he was young. He was I was 17.
Which is Dio
16.
Dorking captain,
Yeah,
Steve
man.
Sanders' son.
Like, he had his Dorking stuff on, old Dio. I'm like,
Brilliant
whoa.
angler.
Yeah, mate, amazing. So he was there, this side. Then it was me. And then it was it's either Richard Taylor or Mark Pitchers. He had his England Air side box, didn't he? I'm like,
Again.
I'll wrestle you for it, mate. Come on. And I've rocked up with my burgundy one, 2 side trays, you know what I mean? Got my side tray and everything like that. So all in's gone. I've got three waggler rods set up. All in's gone. Put some magwise out. Cast it straight on top of it. Like, here we go. Had a bite straight away. Wallop, snap. Oh, no, it snapped above my float. So I'm like, oh dear, here we go. So I'm like, wound the line on that. Pretending nothing's happened, but Don's just like there. He's like watching everything.
Could you feel his eyes burning on the back of your head?
Michael's playing the fish. Mark's playing the fish. Or Rich, I can't remember which one it was. So I've got my other waggler rod out. Put some more sticky mags in. Chucked it out again. Missed a bite. I'm like, oh, it's still there. Michael's playing his second one. Mark's playing his second one. Chucked it out again. Yes, got a fish on. Fell off.
No.
One back again. He's playing his third one. Mark's playing his third one. I've still not had a fish. Chucked out again. Got some maggots straight on top of it. Smashed the tip on my float.
No.
I've not got many wagglers. So I've wound that one back. Picked another waggler up, which is like, it's 2 grams heavier. So I would have been on the 6 gram. And it was just like 8 grams. So I put that one out. Gone to cast it and it snapped.
Yeah, what, your line snapped? Cracked off?
Cracked off. And I've only got 1 waggler rod left. I'm like, I'll take it easy with this. So I've chucked it out, put some sticky mag near it, wasn't nowhere near it because my head going a bit by this time. I think Michael's on about 5 fish, Mark's on like 3 or 4 fish. And then eventually I've up my first fish. So I could waffle all day about this, but basically I've ended up with, I think, 3 carp. Michael's won that trial with 12 carp and Mark's had sort of like 7 or 8 carp.
Wow.
And everyone, Matt Bramley, he had a really good do as well. Basically they were fishing, as they were chucking out, they had, remember them rod rests with like the little plastic thing in the middle?
You used to slide along?
Yes. They were fishing with them, so they chuck it out and put the rod to the side and they just keep blasting over the top. Well, I've not really seen that style before.
What, loose feeding or sticky
mag?
mag?
No, sticky mag over the top, and obviously wallop, and that fish was on. I've not really seen that style before, so we was like striking into everything. But they were all fishing that way. So come the second trial, me had gone by this time. Like again, Downsy didn't move us, just kept us on the same pegs.
How did you feel? Did you feel like chance had gone at this point?
I was nearly crying, mate. I was that bad, like proper welling up and everything.
Did Downsy say anything to you after that bit of a disaster in that first trial?
No, because he never used to say anything. He used to always keep his cards to his chest kind of thing. He wouldn't say it until after. Excuse me. So come the second trial, I just decided to take it dead easy, not rush anything like that. And I just got smashed up again.
Really?
Michael's won the trial again. I think Mark was like second or third. Matt Bramley's had a load. Ian's had a load. Chris Jenkinson was in the lineup as well. And I just my head went, mate. I think I only had like 2 fish, 3 fish, something like that. I did horrendous. And obviously my dad was there as well, so he was gutted. So obviously at the end of that, I packed all our gear away, and then Mark's choosing the team. So we chose the 2 from the previous year, which was Mark Pitchers and Richard Taylor. And then he chose Michael Sanders, Ian Boothby, Matt Bramley, and Chris Jenkinson. So that's his 6. He didn't even mention anything about me, this, that, and the other, to everyone. But then he came and like had a little word in my ear, says, Andy, it's not gone quite your way for all the reasons, this, that, and the other. But before this, I knew what it was down to. It was down to my main line. I thought I was being clever fishing like an 014 main line with a massive breaking strain, but because it was high-tech line, I didn't understand then the difference between like a real line and a high-tech line. Obviously, real line, 3 or 4 pound, but it's the diameter, like 0.20, 0.22, a lot more abrasion resistant, this, that, and the other. And I wasn't clued up, and that's what's done it. That's why I was snapping off. Like Michael was only on I think he was on Silstar actually. He was on like 0.20 Silstar, which is like well thick.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd just be clever, nice and fine, and just get it on the same spot every time. But it just wouldn't stand the strain of these carp. And obviously what we were going for over in Croatia in Portugal on the Soraya was like carp and barbel, hard fighting fish.
Yeah. So
it's proper dummy heading. So anyway, a couple of weeks went by, and then previous to the trial, we'd had a round of the youth classic, the Morelands Youth Classic that Chris used to run, And I'd not drawn well. I was on the meadow pool and I'd not drawn well, but I knew everyone knew Downsy was coming. So like, oh, Downsy's coming. He's going to look at us all. And we're like, yeah, go on, Downsy. So I knew that I had to like, go out and try and catch some fish and sort of impress. I've set waggler rod up. I'll catch some on that. No one else has set a waggler rod up. I'm going to say I was down in, you've not been to Moorlands, have you?
Never
So
seen it.
I was on the meadow pool and I was down in the 30s. I'm going to say about peg 38, something like that. So sort of like 3/4 of the way down on the right hand side as you're looking at the lake. And there was only like silverfish to be caught. Not many carp down there, even back then. Still not the best now. So I've started off on a short line, caught a few roach and skimmers. No one's catching around me. And I've seen Downsy. I'm going to get on waggler, aren't I? So I've got on a waggler and I've caught 2 carp.
While he were watching you?
While he were watching me. And he's like, yeah, Andy's doing all right. And I remember, vividly, it's mad when you remember these things. I can remember Downsy giving an interview to someone, whether Chris was interviewing him or something like that. And he was saying, yeah, Andy's doing well on the waggler. I'm like, yeah, boy, I'm doing well. So
Chest
like,
out.
Yeah, casted it a few more times, nothing. Come back on the pole and had a few skimmers and a few roach and that. And I won my section. Now, that's the only thing I can think of that's stuck in Downsy's mind. Is what I'm going to tell you next. So obviously you've seen that, won my section from a hard area, caught some carp on the waggler. So obviously we had the England trial, just completely messed it up, got it completely wrong.
Do you think you deserved to get picked after that?
No,
so
100% no.
You were happy with the fact you hadn't been picked.
I was gutted. I think I might have had a little cry on the way home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
it was understandable that he hadn't selected you.
Oh, definitely. I was gutted because it meant everything to me, that ASI box. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was devastated. But like, it was a good 2 weeks that went by, and I can remember I'd got in from work. So I was at the bank by this point. Got in from work at sort of like 5 o'clock, and Daddy May was already home. And said, what's the best bit of news that you could have now, Andy? I'm like, don't know, there's a lot of things going on, Dad. I've had a phone call off Downsy, you and the team. I'm like, what?
Never.
Literally couldn't believe it. So I'm like, yeah, you've got to give him a ring now. So I rang him.
What were going through your mind when he said that?
I didn't know what to think, Matt. I was just like, just emotion coming. I'm like, well, why? I just wanted to know why. And obviously, I rang Downsy, like, thanked him. Oh, thank you so much. I'm getting my SI box. Thanked him so much. And he said, like, because obviously what he'd seen on the moorlands, like, he knew I got it wrong with the lines. You could see my casting was all right, my feeding was all right, aggressive angler feeding, this, that, and the other. But it's just a few little tweaks that I needed, choosing the right floats and this, that, and the other. And yeah, from then it was just like, I couldn't believe it. So I went in like the next day, not like telling everyone I'm in the England team. I'm like, I'm going to get an ASI box. For me, mate, that was like the most important thing.
Brilliant.
I'm like, right, the burgundy one's gone for sale. Who wants a burgundy ASI box? Oh, mate, I was like ecstatic.
Oh, what a story.
Couldn't tell you how excited I was. So I told everyone in the bank and all that, told all my mates, went and had a few cheeky beers. And yeah, so from there, obviously, that's when...
Fair play to Downsy for noticing your natural talent, though, and watching you outside of just the England trial. Because I'm not just saying this blowing smoke up your backside, but Mark often talks about you. Even now, obviously, I go away with the England team, and he still references you quite a bit now as well. So it's obviously tattooed in his brain. Yeah. So fair play to him for noticing that. So he took 7 people.
7 people, which is unheard of, really. You know what I mean? Because normally it's 5 fish, and then one sitting out for like the worst performer, then they'll fish on the second day.
That's exactly it, yeah.
But obviously, it's the first time. I don't think it's happened. Well, it might have done now, but back then, it was unheard of. It was always 6.
What did Mum and Daddy May think to you getting in the England team? They must have been so proud.
Just amazing. Matt, right? I'd drawn pictures of this ASI box. It was in my jotter and everything like that. I've got my pink crayon started that long. It was like down to this now. How many pictures I'd drawn of it? But no, they were just like obviously over the moon. And then a funny little story when we get later on. Obviously, while we did, I'll tell you about what happened. But as far as I was concerned, no one was coming with me. It was only like me making the trip to...
Tell me where you were going. What were you doing? World Championships, 18s and unders.
Yeah.
Where are you going? What's the fishing like?
1996 in...
That's ages ago!
Mate, so it was
That's the year I was born.
It was the
Euros.
Euros.
It was.
All right, Tom.
Sorry,
Sorry, that, mate.
I wonder you haven't got any hair.
Got a proper haircut for it, Anna. You know what I mean? I am that old, folks. I am that old.
96.
1996, and it was Euro 96. Obviously, you must have heard all about the Euro 96, Germany beating us, this, that, and the other, which I'll come to later on.
I know nothing about it. Don't know anything about football.
Don't know football?
No. I thought David Beckham was still in England team until last year.
Mate.
I'm not even kidding.
England SI box, mate. Get ready. So like before we'd gone there, my England SI box had come. I'm like, I didn't want to put anything in it. I didn't want to go out practicing. I didn't want to get it dirty at all. Mate, I was just like absolutely made up with it. So Portugal 96, a place called Croatia on the Rio Soraya or River Soraya.
Yeah.
So basically it was like a tributary of a main river that used to dam every year, backfilled, and then it used to get full of like barbel and little carp. And in practice there was these little weird fish on like a whip, but none of us took whips. They're like pumpkin seed. I don't know, they're like a spiky perchy like with a yellow dot in them.
Some perch.
There might have been
little
some
perch.
I don't know,
like,
we'd seen them, we're like, not catching them, there's grab big barbels out there, we're only catching the barbels and the carp. So like not really paying much attention to them. So we gets over there. First day of practice, obviously all 7 of us line up, and it's like it's dead sandy and everything like that. I'm like, get sand in my SI box, I'm not liking this.
Well, you're fishing off a beach in Croatia, aren't you?
It's basically a beach.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that shape, flat, and then comes up again. It's only like, it wasn't very deep. I'm going to say it was like 5 or 6 foot. You know what I mean? It wasn't deep, like dead warm water, obviously, like boiling hot. And here's another thing. You being a fellow strawberry blonde, Matthew, will know all about this. So I think that the first day, the practice session, I got proper sunstroke. Dan's was like, Andy, go and sit in the back of the van. So I had to go and have a trip in the back of the van because I was that bad.
It's nasty.
I mean,
you not put any cream on her out?
Yeah, I got Factor Tipex on. I got like proper like white Dulux it was. It was like white Dulux tubes, honestly. I'm like, I splattered it over everywhere. Got brollies up and everything. But then I had to
so hot, Portugal.
It was ridiculous. Even with brollies up, it was like, it's piercing. But it was just like catching your arms and all that. And my arms like went like this red. You know what I mean? That colour red, like proper get ready time. So I went and sat in his van, and he had all these like Daiwa Corsini wagglers, loads of them like that. Oh yeah, I'll have a few of them. So I spoke to Joe. Joe, me all right if I have a few of these? I've not got many wagglers. Like, yeah, help yourself. Oh, I will. So I've got like 4 of each size and this, that, and the other. I had a bit of a sleep, had some water, but I won't will. I was really poorly, all up until like the next day of practice. I had been doing all right in practice, the first practice. Second practice, bit wobbly because I was poorly. But third practice, like, yeah, get ready time. Loving this. It was amazing.
What were the fishing like? What were you catching? What were the tactics?
It was long range waggler, but like they're like big sliders that we're using though, Matt. You know what I mean? Big sliders. They say it wasn't that deep, and it was balls of sticky mag. So we had, I can't remember his name. Gutted, I can't remember his name. There's a Portuguese bloke who like used to fish it all the time.
Ricardo.
I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure, but he was proper clued up, like real good lad. Spoke better English than me, to be fair. And he'd like show us how to like proper clean the maggots and like what kind of stuff to put on them, and like these little bits of gravel and all that, and like the maze trick and all that, so your hands aren't getting sticky. So I was like that every time. You know
Covered
what I mean?
in
Like,
maggots.
like big lines everywhere of Orlics and all that. So yeah, he'd show us all that trick, and then the other line was my style of fishing, like the little babby wagglers. So Drennan insert wagglers just at sort of like a 20-metre chuck, hemp and magwise. Oh, mate, it was amazing.
Like English fishing, really, isn't it?
Not many of the other lads were doing it. They were concentrating on that, but Dan just said about this other tactics, just spraying maggots, fishing over depth, and, just letting these barbels hook themselves, because they were similar to our barbel, but not. They're like this European barbel.
Yeah.
Dead hard to hook.
They're like darker and a little bit chunkier, weird fish,
angry.
aren't they? Yeah.
They're like chum, like proper angry. They see a snag, like, I'm going to do you in the snag. Like, when
if you were a fish, you'd be one of them barbel.
I'd 100% be a barbel. Like, what are you doing putting a hook in me? But yeah, the sea keep net, and they're like, keep net, and just go for it. And they're like Nemo, and the seagulls, mine. Bowls are like, keep net, mine. And then they're just like head straight for it. Or if there's like a random snag, like a boulder in the river, like, right, I'm going behind it. Done. And yeah, so we were catching like these little babby barbels, and they always used to fall off. It's a good job Lewis didn't get picked that year. Rods everywhere. But yeah, it was one of them things that you had to come to terms with. You would lose as many as you get. So it wasn't a problem for me because I was like used to using like dead soft rods. I was fishing. I can remember rods. It was a Daiwa Amorphous whisker rods, dead soft, real soft action rods, amazing. And I got it down to a T. So it'd be like blast event, slightly downstream, or it might be going that way to that way, and then maggots, and then chucking into the maggots. But you'd be fishing like well over depth, and you just see it. And then you float go under, your instant reaction would be wanting to strike, but you used to have to let them hook themselves because you get that many liners because they come in the ball. When there was a lot there, they're just coming in a massive ball. It was amazing fishing.
So when you say hook himself, what they used to do, pull your rod?
Yeah. So, like, you know, like that I told you at Gold Valley when they're having, that's basically how we're fishing. So we chuck out, rod to the side, watch your float, fire at your float, and then you just wait for your rod to get pulled round.
And just pick up when they were one on?
Just pick when there was one on. And like you get, I'm going to say one in 4 out because they used to fall off, but it's one of them things.
Right.
I used to be like a bit of an angry strawberry blonde back then, Matt. You know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you got a bit of a temper on you?
I had a bit of a temper on me back then.
I was going to say, I don't see it.
So like lose a fish, I'd be like, yes, even it wasn't really the sun that was causing it. It was like losing these fish.
Did anyone ever tell you about it? Like, did anyone ever pick up on it? Or did you keep it?
Yes, because like some of my earlier matches, like late teens, early 20s, I get a bit of a rage every now and again. You know what I mean? But then since that, you look back and you think, yeah, I need to calm down. So I've calmed down loads since then. But yeah, so you'd be catching these fish, like getting 1 out of every 3 or 4, something like that. And then the first day, before this, so obviously Downs come up to me, says, right, Andy, you picked. And I'm like,
you're fishing the world champs.
Fishing the world champs. So I thanked him basically. I was like, oh, Downs, you come here. I wanted to give him a cuddle and everything. I'm like, whoa, keep your distance. Keep your distance. So
you might have COVID.
Just thanked him. But before that, on the same day I got picked, like bearing in mind that like my family weren't coming. As far as I was concerned, it was just me on my own. The final practice session, I was fishing away and there was this bridge over the river here. So I'm fishing away and just gives it one of them. That's Daddy May. Daddy May's walking over the bridge. Like, didn't have a clue he was coming over.
Kept it a secret?
Literally kept it a secret. Only him, like, mum and sister didn't come out, but my dad, like, wandering over this bridge. And, as he does, and that's it. Hey, up, Dad. And it was amazing, like, to see him. And obviously, like, after that, Downsy told me I'd been picked. So I'm like, I went and told me, Dan's like, yes, get in. It was just amazing.
What a moment.
Lovely moment.
It was brilliant. It was awesome.
How did he keep it a secret for so long?
I didn't have a clue. I just thought there's like a ticket going out, and then obviously we'd get back and he'd meet us at the airport because we flew from like Heathrow or Gatwick. It was like miles away. You know what I mean? It was a long way away. It wasn't like obviously Manchester, so we all met as a team and then flew out as a team. So come the I drew an MPEG on the first day in the World Champs.
MPEG.
It was amazing. I can remember I drew next to a Portuguese angler. So I'm like, I'm going to get tuned up here. But like being an MPEG, downstream MPEG as well.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. So like first chuck on a big, team plans was start off on a big waggler whilst you sprayed your little baby line, you know what I mean? So started off on a big waggler and I've got to common first chuck.
Carp?
Like 2 or 3 pound. Like we've not really been catching many. There's odd mullet to be caught in practice. An odd big carp, but it's mainly these barbels.
And what sort of weight were you fishing for, Andy?
2 to 5 kilo.
So it weren't bagging fishing?
No, not at all. It weren't. But because it was only 3 hours. I think is it still 3 hours now?
It's 4, I think now.
Right. So it was only 3 hours. It'd go dead quick because you're always busy.
Yeah.
And you're like you'd lose a few and this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? So I've had this common first chuck, and then Portuguese angler. He's had a little barrel first chuck on a long pole to hand. I'm like, no one's told us about that.
Did you set a pole up?
No, didn't set any poles up. Literally just had like 4 or 5 waggler rods.
Brilliant. 2
big ones and then 2 or 3 little babby ones. The other thing that we're doing as well, Matt, I know I'm waffling again.
No, tell me about it. I want to know.
I've never seen this setup.
I might be going to Carouche next year for Euros.
Oh, really?
Not been selected yet, but that's where...
I'll put my sun cream on and everything.
That's where Euros is next year.
Ambre Solaire, mate. I'll put it on.
Tell me everything I need to know in case I
scribbling notes under the table now.
Yeah. That's where the Euros is, though. So
is it really?
All England team will be going.
Oh, mate,
happens.
that'd be mint. It's such a nice venue.
Yeah. So tell me how to fish.
So like the Portuguese and this Portuguese bloke who remember me saying about before, who showed us his mix. Mm. He showed us this. You've probably seen it. They'll have like a little bit of elastic halfway down the rig.
Shock absorber.
Yeah, because of these savage bites off the barbels. So like a few of us tried it. I tried it. I'm like got tangled straight away. Yeah, I ain't doing that. So I just like stuck to it. But then you could see everyone setting up like this. You know what I mean? Not seen anyone with a pole or a whip or anything like that other than this Portuguese guy next to me on the first day, and he's had like helping on first chuck. I'm like, playing a carp, aren't I? Got a common on. It's fell off.
No.
But it's literally like, I've had like bramble things going out here, and it was like the barbels. I've seen a snag, and he's like, went straight for it, snagged me, and then like, just see it swim off. I'm like, yeah.
Not what you want on your first ever world
No,
champs.
so I got a bit of a rage on, went to give it one of them, and like, snapped me up length, you know what I mean? So I put another hook on, chucked it out, but then I've caught a barbel. I think I've got 2 barbels dead quick, and then I've had another carp. This one was a bit bigger, it was like 3 or 4 pound. Got him in.
Yes.
Up to you.
Was he under chin?
Yeah. But it's like, he's gone for it, and then he's just turned as I've struck.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? One of them.
Always happens that.
And then I've not really caught again then. I've had like another little flurry late on the little babby waggler, but the bigger waggler was miles better. And I've ended up with just over 3 kilo. And that's won me the section.
Yes.
So
What did Portuguese have?
Portuguese only had like a kilo. He's had like that barbel straight away, then he's had another 2 or 3 little barbel, that's all.
Got ya.
Now, unbeknownst to me, I think it was Richard Taylor. He's either won his section or come second in his section from like right in the middle of the length. And he's fished for these little babby, I don't even know what they were. They're like, they had like a yellow spot. Is that what they were?
Yeah, they'll be like little pumpkin seeds, yeah.
So he's fished for them. Like, unbeknownst to everyone else, he's just like, none of us have set poles up. I don't even think we took pole. We might have took some whips and that. But I wouldn't have done, because I don't even own whips, Matt. You know what I mean?
You weren't faffing, were you?
No, mate.
You weren't faffing.
You know
for
how
some
we
perch.
fish, Matthew.
Ligger.
You know, yes. But obviously he's like changed everything and gone for these, like, and he's won his section just fishing for them. He's only had like 2 kilo and something, but won his
Was
section.
it those little things? Like something like
That's
that?
it.
Sun perch!
Go on,
there
the
we
little
go.
babbies. What are they? Sun perch.
Sun perch.
Yes,
yeah,
they weren't that big though. They were like tiny little things.
Ah.
Proper little cute. I went out to see them. Like, I want to catch them. They look well cute.
Be cool if
But
they were like
cool
£8,
little fish.
Oh,
wouldn't
mate,
it?
imagine them. But then when I was catching fish like that, I'm like, no, I don't really want to catch them because they're not big enough. So he's like proper worked it out. He's awesome angler. I think still fishing now.
Right.
So obviously we've done really well. Then we had team tactics that night over food and everything. So the team who fished, I'm getting ahead of myself, aren't I? The team who fished obviously was me, Mark Pitchers, Richard Taylor, I think Matt Bramley fished the first day, and Michael Sanders. And then the worst point scorer for that first day had to make way for, it was Matt Bramley, I think, who come in for the second day. So
Yeah.
Bless him, Chris Jenkinson didn't fish both days.
Ah,
Bless him. So
lovely lad, Jenko, isn't he?
he's awesome. I don't even know if he's fishing anymore,
I
is he?
see him walking about a bit. I've seen him on Trent and that. I don't know if he fishes as much now, but I'm sure he'll come back into it.
Oh, lovely lad.
Yeah,
Lovely
good
lad.
angler.
Proper angler.
Trentman, he used to fish for Trentman, didn't he, Jenko?
Yeah, that's
At one
it.
point, yeah.
So the next tour I'll tell you from like the next World Champs, I'll tell you all about his gear because
Right.
I've got to use it all. But anyway, so come to the second day. I drew right in the middle of the length, next to, I think I had an Italian one side and a Polish lad to my left. It was round where Richard had like been the day before. But so I was like looking down instantly, you could see these little babby
Anyone got a
sunperch.
spare whip?
Couldn't see any little babby sunperch. He caught them all, hadn't he? How dare he? So like tactics again, started off on a big waggler, didn't have a bite on it.
Oh, no.
But I'd seen them swirling on the magpies and the emp. So like picked the little waggler up, gone on that, and I've had one straight away. And then I've lost 2, and then I've had another 2 or 3. So it just like ticked over like that. And all through the section was that I'd either be first or second, pretty much all the way through. Because obviously you have a fish count back and all this, that and the other, and there's like people walking the bank for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I knew I was doing all right. And then it comes down to like the last 5 minutes, and I've hooked a barbel, got it all the way in, it's fell off. See my nets, hasn't it? See my nets, done me in my nets. I'm like, didn't get rage on. Daddy May's with me. Come on, don't swear behind Daddy. Don't swear in front of Daddy May. So I put another up length on, tucked it in again. I've had another one, but it was like a lot smaller, but I managed to get it in. Now I can vividly remember, I've got a lot of vividly remember stories, haven't I? German lad, my section, he'd have been 4 pegs down. He won his section the day before as well. 4 pegs down, like Hooter's gone, he's got his pole in the air with a little fish dangling. Because obviously
It's got to be clear at water.
it's got to clear at water. And it's a good, I'm going to say 9 metres up in the air. So he's just like taking a section off at a time, and then put this fish in his net. And he ended up winning the section, beating me by 20 grams.
And that's that fish that we're dangling.
That's that fish. 20 grams, Matt.
Was it 20 gram, the fish?
Oh, no, it's bigger than that, but he's done me by 20
Wow.
grams. So he's won it. I think everything like 2.5 kilo. We both had 2.5 kilo, but obviously he's 20 grams more than me. And that was that Euro 96 when Germany beat us on penalties as well. So
what
I
a coincidence.
I promised everyone at work, like, yeah, we're going to smash the Germans up. We're going to beat them, but I didn't. Blooming let him beat me, didn't I?
20 grand, yeah.
Yeah, 20 grand me. So so I got individual silver.
So you got a section win in a second,
Section
3
win
points.
in a second, 3 points.
Great achievement, mate.
It was
Well
amazing.
done.
It was amazing. Cheers, mate. No, it was good.
Really good.
And then there we go on the straw.
Look at that.
Look at
Look
that
at the
foot
curtains.
barnet.
Look at the curtains. So obviously there's the old NFA tie, shirt and
Absolutely
trousers.
awesome, mate.
Oh, mate, it was so good.
So second in the whole world. What an achievement.
Yeah,
I bet
that's
not
mega,
a lot many
mate.
people know about that, Andy. I bet they don't.
No, they will do. It's a waffle
Do you
about it all the
reckon?
time. Yeah,
I think it's
everyone I
awesome,
see. Do you know? No, it's mate. It was amazing. It was so good. Such a good experience.
And that's a mega achievement at that age
Yeah,
as well,
man.
mate. Like,
Yeah.
you're
Loved
at
it.
the top at such a young age.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Shame I couldn't.
17 years
stick with it,
old.
though. Yeah. So 17. I'd literally passed my test like 2 weeks previous, and Daddy May let me have a drive of his car.
You've still got some sunburn there, haven't you?
You can see it on my
You can
cheeks
still
and my
see
nose.
it under your
Honestly,
eyes.
Matt, I'd never been like that bad, but all my arms were like they were bright red, man.
Well, there's 2 medals round your neck there, so I'm assuming you got a team medal as
so
well.
we got a team bronze.
What
So
a week.
Germany won it, and I'm sure France was second, and then we were third.
Awesome.
It was amazing. I think Richard Taylor, he was second in his section, or third in his section, so he's done really well. All the lads have done brilliant, basically. And then we all went for a swim after.
Did you?
Oh, it was amazing. It was so good. We had a few cheeky ones at night time, because obviously you sit down and have the gala meal and all this, that and the other, don't you?
Bit of a banquet.
In fact, I'd say another funny story. Well, it's not a funny story, not for me. So my dad, obviously we're all staying in the set. I'm waffling, aren't I?
No,
Do apologise.
tell us.
What time have you got to get off to?
You're fine, mate. Don't you
So,
worry.
just cut me off, mate. Just get him out, will you? Security. Right, so, we obviously the team stay in the same hotel, don't they?
Yeah.
You know, the England team. Now, Daddy May, he'd booked an hotel like half an hour away from the venue where they were having the gala meal. So I've gone back with my dad. I've not gone back with the rest of the lads on the second day. I've gone back with my dad, like, have a bit of a shower and what have you. My dad's let me drive the car. Like, it's only 2 weeks past my test. I'm like, yeah, let's have a go on the wrong side, Dad.
Love it.
Like,
In
no,
Portugal.
you get back on it, Dad. I don't like this. So by the time we turned up, they'd done all the celebrations, handed all the medals out.
And you weren't there?
I wasn't there to get him. So Matt Bramley, the lad who was in our team, he's gone up on my behalf and give it the big one. Send it to me. He said, mate, your hair colour's wrong and everything.
Love
but
it.
yeah, he's gone up and like got the trophies and everything like that.
Fantastic.
I didn't see all them until like when we were sitting down for the meal.
Someone just come and handed them, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
here
you
you
didn't get
go,
your
mate.
stage moment and
Yes.
everything.
I want to go back on that stage and give it a big one. Come on. But yeah, no, it was amazing. Amazing experience.
Absolutely
so good.
mega. So out of Portugal, Andy,
Yeah.
into the next year and your next England
Yes.
year away with the gang.
Yeah, man.
Where were that? What were that all about?
Croatia on the River
Croatia.
Drava in Zagreb.
Shall we celebrate going to Croatia with a hero?
Oh, go on, Hero.
We've
We've
got
got
all
crack
this-
open.
I've been waiting for the right time to ask for one.
Go ahead, Sobes. Mate, you get stuck in.
So you-
What we having?
I'm playing Cadbury's, mate.
You're not having me whisper, mate. So you
No,
can have a dairy
mate.
milk.
I wouldn't want to fight you.
You ready?
For it. Go on
We're
then.
dying. Look at that, the 1-8.
We're right through.
Like that, what are you having? Don't even look at the whispers, Matt.
Go on, have a whisper.
Can I have
Let's see what
another
happens.
cream egg ones?
Go on, mate.
Go on then.
Go on, love.
Now what?
Now what, man?
Now what?
I'm having a whisper.
Look at that. I'm going through a
That
cream
mean I've
egg
got
one.
to stop. This is the only time you'll stop me waffling,
No,
isn't it, when I'm
We've
eating?
got to apologise to everyone listening for the chewing noises
Nom,
down
nom,
the
nom,
mic.
nom, nom. Go ahead. Are we all going? Hang on, let me get a whispering.
This is what you get for a Christmas
Yeah,
special.
take long.
There we go.
It's a whisper.
Oh, good crunch that.
Right.
Go on, there. Tell me a little bit about
I was
going
fishing this
to,
lake the other day. I know.
tell me about going to Croatia.
No.
The River Drava.
I'm eating whispers, mate.
That sounds big and strong and powerful. If Andy May were
Right.
a river, it'd be the River
Mate.
Drava.
Do you know what, Matt? Before I get into the story,
Hmm.
I'd love to go back and fish the river again. Because at the time, we'd never seen flat floats. Never ever seen flat floats. So obviously, what were we now? So I was 18. So 1997. Even down to you didn't know about, didn't know anything about flat floats. We were fishing like massive, great big bodied floats. You know, sort of like 15, 20, 25 gram floats.
Big floats.
And I didn't really have gear for it, to be fair. I still had my diaflash. So I might have had like did I? Yeah, I still had my diaflash. Still probably only got like one top kit, because obviously we didn't need poles in Portugal. we took rods, but like rods didn't come into it whatsoever. If you could fish a feeder, it'd be all right. But obviously, being float champ, you couldn't fish a feeder or have any weight on the bottom.
And what were you catching? What were it all about?
Right, yeah. I'm not going to say we didn't know loads about it, but we didn't really know loads about it. To be fair, the mixes that we'd fish, we never ever fished like that before. Just like ever in the
Couldn't
world.
use
Ever.
magic.
Couldn't use I wanted to, mate. If I could have fished magic, get ready. Every skimmer and boeam in the whole venue I would have caught. No, it was basically stones that we were feeding. Obviously, you know how like rich it's got to be, like really heavy. We were sort of like feeding 28 meters upstream for it to like, we think land there. And like every ball would be like that kind of shape, you know what I mean? So it like flutter down and like not move. So we didn't know. It was like potluck. I think, so obviously we'd been, the practice days, I drew the upstream MPEG on one of the practice, got put there. So obviously it was like my feed, what was catching on. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not catching off anyone.
You're feeding the person below your peg, basically, yeah.
So obviously you'd expect on the water that savage and like proper angry, the angler's like downstream from you catching the fish where there's bait going in. So obviously I've done all right from catching off my own feed, if you like. So wellying this bait right up there and catching. I've had like two skimmers, sort of like pound a piece. And then we don't even know what they were called, Matt. We called them GTI rough. Because like a rough in like GTI form, like spikes up, gills out, you know what I mean? One of them. We don't know what they were. They could have been like little babby zander.
Right.
But we're catching these sort of like we'd use our keep nets as like a little bit of a crease, you know, a little bit of an eddy, a bit of a slack.
Yeah.
And we'd used to catch these. So we thought, a bit of a team plan here, we'll go for them. So we'd fish like bloodworm on that, like a little bit of joker in, and catch them with like this GTI rough that we call them. And then there's a few of us who'd like go out on a big flat float. I can remember because John Jarram had got in this year. He was the only change to the team. Mark Pitchers, Richard Taylor were too old. So John Jarram had come into the team. It was a team of 6 this time. We'd had I'm going back a bit now, aren't I?
Go on, it's good.
So we'd had the trial at Hayford. Remember Hayford?
Hayford, one of the first commercials, wasn't it? Yeah.
Right back in the day, floating poles.
Rooney used to work there. Adam Rooney used to work at Hayford, yeah.
Oh, blooming heck. Oh,
yeah.
right, I never knew that.
Ah.
Stop putting me off, Matt. Right, so it was a wide snake lake. You know what I mean? Obviously, they used to catch on like floating pole with like casters, but obviously it was all bloodworm and joker. And I won both trials.
Brilliant.
It was amazing. In fact, Wendy was there.
Really?
Yeah, she was on the trial there. She did really well actually.
Awesome.
Nearly got picked. Wendy did.
Go on, Wendy.
So I got picked on that one. Team was announced, and then obviously we've gone to Croatia. We didn't know anything about these floats. We just knew it'd be like real powerful river. So fishing away, as I said, I didn't really have the gear for it. So we've done the practice sessions, and I caught every day in practice. I caught at least one skimmer, and then some of these GTI rough. But before we get into the into the main event, should we say, on the Saturday and Sunday, where we were staying in a hotel, Matthew, there was we were older then. I was 18, mate. I could go out.
You could have a beer.
Get ready. That's all I'm saying. So bit of the old Jean-Paul Gaultier cologne come on of a night time. Put my fingers through. Oh, no air there, so I couldn't put my fingers through the air for the old centre party. And we'd gone. All of us had gone into the club like below the hotel, and it was kind of never seen out like it. It was like, oh my god, this is amazing. Let's go and get some drinks. So like, yeah, we'd had a few too many.
This isn't before the day of the match, is it?
No. This is on like before one of the practice days.
Got you.
And I can remember. We just got chatting to some girls, and I give one of them a tenner. For some reason, I just give her a tenner. And then, all right, you write me your address down. So I'm like, yeah, all right then. You know what I mean? As you do back then. So wrote me address down, this, that, and the other, and then didn't think anything else of it. Got a bit of the mickey taken out of me by the likes of Matt and Ian Booby and this, that, and the other. But then that was it. Enough. I'll tell you what happened later on. So anyway, we come to the day after, the night before, if you like. And Downsy put me on the downstream MPEG. Get ready time. Catch me some fish, Andy. I'm like, yeah, all right then. I'll try and catch you some fish. So I fished all right for an hour. But then you get the warning water, don't you?
Really?
Yeah. So like the toilet, the only toilet, because like it was all open. There was no like bushes or anything like that. So I'm like,
you don't want to do it in front of Downsy.
Can't do it in front of Downsy. Didn't even like want to tell him. He knew we'd been out. Joe definitely knew he'd been out, Joe Roberts. So like the toilet was like, it was miles away. It's probably like quarter of a mile, half a mile away. And I had to
Far too far when you need it. Like
Oh,
that.
Tobbs,
Yeah,
honestly,
innit?
mate. I'm like to Downsy. I'm just going for a wander, see what's occurring. Because I'd done all right. I'd had a few skimmers and that. So went for a wander, and you see all the other lads like, yeah, they're not right either. Knew where I was going. So I wandered, found this toilet, did what I had to do in there, and then just like walked all the way out. No water or anything, so like nailed the water when I got back. Had some tablets and that. Managed to sneak him in without Downsy seeing. And then carried on, caught a few fish and this, that and the other, so it was all right. But the rest of the team weren't that well. So obviously we got a bit of a telling off on the team chat that night. we all got a bit of a telling off. And don't think you got away with it, Andy. I'm like, oh, sorry. So obviously...
But you caught the most.
Caught the most on that one, but you had to. I mean, Michael Sanders done really well as well. He caught this fish I'd never even caught before called, is it Naze or Naze or something like that? He caught a few of them. Like no one else had caught any.
Cool fish.
They look mint. They're like a ID barbly kind of thing.
Yeah,
aren't
weird
they?
things.
I wanted to catch some of them.
Really cool.
In fact, we got one of the local Croatians come to us after, wanted our fish. And we're like, no, mate, we're putting them back. Oh, no, give me your fish. No, mate, we're putting them back. So we just put them back. And he was like, what have you done? We all put the fish back.
Wanted to eat them?
Yeah, just wanted to take them home and eat them.
Never.
And then there was another one. We gave a load of sensors buckets to. Well, that's by the by. So we had the team chat, got a bit of a telling off, and then got told I'd got picked, which was amazing. Got picked again. So it started pouring down. And as I said, we'd never seen these flat floats. We'd like obviously walked past and seen it was the Polish team that we'd seen using them like size of your hands, like massive things, like size of these.
Yeah, great big,
huge things. Like must be like 50 odd grams and just like that, just inching through. I'm like, whoa, do you get two our floats were like that? You know what I mean? We get like literally 6 seconds, and then we'd have to bring them back again. So I've had a skimmer and some GTI rough on the first day, and I've done all right in my section. I've come 4th or 5th in my section.
Good going.
Michael Sanders has come 2nd in his section, done really well. Now the other lads haven't fared as good. But I've had to borrow Chris Jenkinson's gear. Literally, I had all his top kits and all this, that and the other.
Why?
Just because I didn't have enough top kits, Matt. You know what I mean? I only had like 2 top kits, but it's just one of them, just like...
That's how it was back then.
So it was back then. I was like, rods, yeah, I had loads of rods, but didn't really have loads of top kits or anything like that. So I borrowed all this gear. And then, unfortunately, Chris didn't fish the second day either. So that's 2 world champs, and both times he didn't fish, unfortunately.
Right.
So again, borrowed all his gear, and I didn't do as well the second day. I've just had a few GTI rough, didn't have any bonus fish at all. I think I ended up coming like 28th individual or something. Michael Sanders did well. He was 8th or 10th individual, but we blew out as a team. Now Poland, I think they annihilated the section pretty much every day because they were fishing these flat floats. It's the first time we'd ever seen them. I'm like,
that
wow,
must have been one
proper
of the
eye-opening.
That must have been one of the first times them big flat floats came on the match scene. Like, it must have been one at first.
I think it was because obviously, if we'd have known about it, Downsy and Joe would have told us about it. We had obviously the massive bodied floats. That's all we had. You know what I mean? So to see something like that in action and like, oh, it was amazing.
Good experience though. Enjoyed it.
Brilliant experience, mate. Really enjoyed it. The
You
drinks. Right, before I finish it though, let's
on.
get back. So the girl who were like gave the tenner to and wrote me address down. Like I'm gonna say, I like obviously forgot all about it. It's good 4 or 5 months later. Got this letter with like proper dodgy writing on it. I'm like, what's that? So opened it up and read it. Like, hi Andy, I'm over here now. Like words to the effect. I'm over here now. I'm in somewhere like it was miles away, like Canterbury. You know, fancy popping over, meeting up and bringing me some hooks. I'm like, what are you on about? Bringing me some hooks? And then it said her name, Schneezen the Zuba, she was called. I'll never forget her name.
Schneezen the Zuba.
Schneezen the Zuba. Never forget her name. And like, she wrote the address down and everything. Of the,
So she was a fishing girl?
Yeah, fishing. Well, yeah, obviously, because she wanted me to send her some hooks. Whether she wanted it for fishing or for like catching the fish, like big dodgy Kamasan hooks for catching the fish and taking them to the table and that. Never got back to her. I'm like, no, like scumping it over. Don't want none of that. No, thank you. I'll carry on with my fishing. But yeah, proper random story, that, isn't it?
That's cool, that. I love it. I love it.
I'll never forget her name.
You can't live them moments any other way.
Definitely not. It's just weird experience. Why I give it when you've had a few cheeky ones, we do all kind of like dodgy things. You know what I mean? But why give it a 10 in the first place? I ain't got a clue why.
Love it. I mean? Absolutely love it.
It's one of them.
Let's move on to when you were a little bit older. Still not an old guy by any means, but
42, innit, mate? 42, getting on now, Matt.
Not that old. I don't want to talk about that just yet. But sort of into your 20s,
yeah, Mum.
You focused a lot of efforts into a competition called the Kamasan.
Oh, yeah.
And it's been spoken about on the podcast. And as a master angler, I know how well respected that event is.
Yeah.
And you actually won the Kamasan twice.
I've not mentioned it, have I?
Kind of 3 times.
I can't believe, Tobes, we're like nearly wherever we are in, I've not mentioned about winning the Kamasan.
Hour and a half in we are, exactly.
Really?
Hour and a
Feels
half
like
in.
10 minutes.
I'm going to throw that up there as well then.
Go on,
I'm surprised
Tobes.
you didn't walk in with your hat on, to be honest with you.
Honestly.
It's the hat on because the hair's gone by that point.
So I've like everyone, I think everyone in the whole world who knows me will know that I like bored everyone to death about this competition.
Yeah, but how many people know the full story?
I haven't heard it.
Probably everyone, but I've told everyone.
Tell me about the Kamasan, because I know you're going to drum it down, but it was and still is regarded as one of the most prestigious titles of all time.
So, when I first started doing the Kamasan, Matt, it was 60 or more pegs. So basically what that means is you've got to fish a competition on either a Saturday, a Sunday, or a bank holiday where there's 60 or more anglers to get points. Now
big
you
matches.
used to get big matches, mate. So you used to get 4 points for a win, down to 1 point for fourth.
Right.
And it was the highest accumulation of points. That's a massive word for me. I'm glad you mentioned that word before, Mark.
Accumulation.
That's the one, mate. Over the course of a season, so from June through to the following March. So whoever got the most points from that season, basically you were the Kamasan Matchman of the Year. So I started chasing it proper, sort of like from the ages of 18, I'm going to say.
What made you want to fish that competition?
You know what? It was a conversation with Ian Boothby, probably in Croatia or something like that. And it just dropped. So the year I first fished it was 60 points. And I didn't get enough because you used to have to get 20 to qualify for the British Open, which was if you got 20 points, you qualify for the British Open, wherever it be, like all the big venues at Oldham, Gulf Valley, Moorlands at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'd go and fish the final.
One-off final.
Yeah. I didn't qualify for the first year, and then it dropped to 50 points. And I remember having a conversation with Ian and says, right, I bet you fancy it now. Because Cudmore at the time started fishing there proper when I was like 14. Again, one of my first commercials. And I was doing really well there. And it always used to attract 50 plus anglers. And I'm like, yeah, I proper fancy this. But it wasn't a competition where you could like focus on one venue. There's loads of different venues, but Cudmore was one. So the first year I went for, when I was 18, I managed to get into the final. I think the final that year was at Carmill Dam.
Nice, not too far from
No,
you.
not too far. I did all right. I think I was second in my section. I've just, basically the method that I hate fishing, Matt, fishing shallow. I've just caught loads of little roach. Hate fishing shallow, as you know. Just caught loads of little babby roach.
Don't believe you.
When everyone else is on ledger bomb rod, you know what I mean?
You fish pole shallow.
I've just fished pole shallow, and I've come second in my section. I think Mark Lucas won the sections. Had like £12, and I've had like £10 or £11. Paul Booby won the final that year. Ian's
Brilliant.
brother.
Boo.
Yeah, big boo. He's had like, I think he's had 25, £30 of skimmers on the tip. The year after, I qualified again with sort of probably just over 20 points again, and then the final that year was at Gold Valley. That's when I think Darren Bickerton won it that year. He drew on one of like the little islands, got like a floaty island and this, that, and the other. Again, I fished shallow, didn't really catch anything. Did all right in practice, but didn't do any good in the final. And then when I was, I think it was 20, I didn't qualify, but 21 was when it like proper started going for me. But that was when loads of other different venues come on the scene, Matt. So rather than Cudmore, I'd go there, obviously. There'd be Heronbrook, Brookside. In that first year, I think it was 14 different venues.
Like, did you used to fish any natural venues for it?
A lot. So Rudyard, I fished Rudyard, Carmill, Compstall, the Weaver. I think the River Dane, actually, that was one of the last matches I ever fished on the River Dane.
That kind of competition,
River Severn.
I'm not interrupting, but that kind of competition, it's not there anymore, is it?
No.
A mixture. But I can see the appeal because basically consistency across naturals, commercials, a variation of venues geographically and styles of fishing.
So how it was then, it was like before pellets and F1s come on the scene as well.
Yeah.
So it proper suited my style of fishing, Matt. You know, maggots, casters, large portions. Yeah, boy, get them in. You know what I mean? Catapults, just like where it lands, nobody knows. Just put your bait in, put your rig in, and it'd go under. It was amazing. It was such good times. And then when it was warmer, obviously, it was the commercials, the likes of Cudmore, Herringbrook, Brookside. And then when it went colder, we used to chase the commercials, but like your neck of woods, Oaks, Woodlands at Thirsk.
Yeah.
And that's when I got to know like all them, them awesome anglers likes of obviously John Allerton, and there was loads of
Dean Smith.
Budgie, loads of like them kind of anglers. Like I think it's the first time I met Tommy as well up there. Who's the massive big dude, like 8 foot tall, who's Denty's like mentor.
Mark Calvert.
Yes, met him for the first time.
He's a legend. I tell you what,
Andy
have you seen his
Bridges.
hands?
Oh mate, yeah. Where's my hand gone?
Yeah,
isn't it?
ridiculous.
I mean, I've got big mittens, but like, where's my hand gone, mate? Come on. So like mixing with them anglers, but like. It's weird because obviously it'd always be colder up your neck of the woods, but like the carp just went nuts. Again, no F1s, but I can remember not cedar. Cedar wasn't even dug then. It was it maple at Oaks. Oh, I didn't care where I drew. Did not care where I drew. Just like 3 foot, like tip some maggots in. Not even plumb up. I don't even plumbed up. Just put 3 foot on the rig, put some maggots in. Oh, it was amazing. Double white magpie, Matt. Oh, it's such good fishing. So we used to like go there over the winter, and then obviously chase points on the River Severn and the Weaver and that. And then so I was the youngest at the time ever one to win it.
So you won it?
I won it, mate. When I was 21. 2000. It was 2000 to 2001 season, so I was 21, and I got 47 points.
Amazing. Steve
Hemingway was second that year. And I got the trophy presented to me, like we've just seen. That was at Salford Water Park. Downs had run it was a Census Challenge. I'm sure it was a Census Challenge, a 2-dayer. And I knew going into that weekend that if I got over the Saturday, because Steve Hemingway was fishing it, and there was over 50 anglers in it, so I knew if I beat Steve on that day, or if none of us rained, then I knew I'd won it going into the Sunday.
Fantastic.
So Daddy May come with me on the first day, and he's like, yeah, Steve's catching. He wasn't, but it's something like my dad had always like say to me, if like something wouldn't happen, he'd say it was, and then it made me try harder. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Desky. I drew next to Desky.
Did you beat him?
No, did he, mate? Like, what is going on?
Desk, the French god.
I basically just sat watching him. You know what I mean? It was amazing. Like, how was he catching? I can't get a bite. Like, welling in magpies. He's like fishing bloodworm and joker and all that. I can't get a bite. Mark Pollard as well. I think he won that day, actually. He's awesome at that style of fishing, awesome at everything. So I knew after that Saturday, I went home like that massive big grin on my face. I knew I'd won it. I knew that massive trophy was coming to me. So I wasn't bothered about where I was on the Sunday. I drew actually next to where I was on the Saturday, but I just wasn't bothered. Wasn't bothered at all.
You'd won the Kamasan.
Won it, mate. Won it.
Big achievement at that age.
At that age, and that's when things really started to happen. You know what I mean? It was decent. I think it was a couple of grand for winning it. You know what I mean?
What sort of feedback and response did you get for winning that at that point? Because everyone, all the very best, that's what they wanted to do at that time. You know, it's so sought after. The people who I speak to now, they still talk about it now. They still got the caps, got the medals. Like, definitely. What response did you get winning it at such a young age?
Just like, I mean, obviously that's when, sponsors started ticking, because obviously at this stage, Dave's in middleweights, proper looked after me, and Census a little bit as well. You know, obviously Downsy, Trev Tomlin really looked after me, but mainly it was Dave's in middleweights. But that's when Maver came in, with my first major offer. All my gear, I'm like, oh my God. I can remember going home telling Daddy May's like, oh yeah, it's like really started to happen then. When you're like 21, it was just like amazing. It's something you'd always like worked up to. And I think, I had my ASI box with me as well. ASI box is well and truly with me. I didn't want to get rid of that ever. But it's mad how it sort of happened like that. Happened so quick. You got on all these phone calls and people congratulating you. The likes of Dave Vincent, legend. Dave Vincent, he'd won it like 3 years running, ringing me up, congratulating me. Bob Nudd gave me a mention in the Sun.
Amazing.
Like, Nuddy's mentioning it. And so obviously I've gone back and told everyone at the bank where I worked, and then, I had to give like a little talk to everyone about what I'd done, because like fishing to them was like, like a wicker basket in that, and like a tin of corn on a canal with like an umbrella set up somewhere. They didn't realise like match fishing or anything like that.
High level competition.
Yeah, man. So obviously, when you're speaking to people who I've got a clue. That's why I like waffling. So I'll tell everyone about all day about fishing. So it started to happen from then.
What happened the following year? Because obviously the following year you won it again.
So that first year, Matt, 14 different venues I got points from. They're naturals, commercials. The second year I was fortunate enough to win it again. That was off 8 different venues. So like sort of mainly commercials, not many. In fact, the other thing that we used to do, I'm going to waffle again, aren't I? The other thing that we used to do, which you could back then, there was no sort of like, frowning upon it. we'd draw at say 9 for somewhere,
Hmm.
and if we like drew, I'm like, yeah, that's no good. Go somewhere else for another draw because we had so many venues around where we were.
All 50 pegs plus.
All 50 pegs, mate. Or there might have been like 40 on, but like say if like a few of them had drawn rubbish, we'd all get onto this other match to make it 50.
Amazing.
That's what we used to do.
That's what that competition
Oh, mate,
created.
meant
though.
everything.
That's what the Kamasan created.
It was amazing.
So you'd go to a match, draw your peg. That's not very good.
Yeah.
Let's go to another match.
Got Brookside always used to have a 10 o'clock draw, fish 11 till 4.
That seems mental. That you
It's
just go
crazy.
That's
somewhere
what it was
else
like
and
back then, no,
compete.
Tobbs. Honestly, mate, I couldn't get enough of it.
But that's the thing that competition had
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
It was
You'd
massive.
That
pay your
sounds like-
pools, you'd pay your money and everything, and then
Yeah,
you'd just
yeah.
go and...
Yeah, man, it was just like
Mental.
for me. It was everything. You know what
But
I mean?
that sounds. Tell me if I'm wrong. That sounds like the most well-rounded, because you're going to a variety of
was.
different venues, fishing loads of different ways.
It was back then.
Is that
Tobbs.
why it was so highly regarded?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
the competition that pretty much everyone who was anyone at the time wanted to win and do well on.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I just absolutely loved it. I literally couldn't get enough of it. I couldn't wait for Saturday, Sunday, or obviously the bank holidays to come around. So this is the good state of him there.
Tell you
On
what,
the white trainees.
there's a picture on screen, folks, them that are listening and not watching, and it's very good-looking Andy May holding the Kamasan with them original black and red ribbons
Yeah,
hanging from
boy.
it. But
So-
I'm looking at them name plaques, Andy,
Mate,
and I can't read what's on them, but there are some
there's some
legends
like
on
likes
that.
of John Allerton, John Dean, Billy Makin, Stu Conroy. There's loads of Mark Harris, who's over in Ireland now, Derek Willen, and honestly, it's just ridiculous the amount of anglers that are on it. Alan Scott
Frightening.
on, Tommy Pickett, all of them, mate. All the legends are on it. Could state them trainees. I couldn't afford Nikes or Reeboks back then. High tech or
What have you
Gola.
got? Is that what?
High tech or Gola, them bad boy. Now what, babby? Oh mate, I ain't bought
Three
these.
stripes on there.
I haven't
now.
bought these. You know what I mean? They've just been marked on them subs. So that's the second year I won it. I think I got the trophy at Cudmore that year. I had a right ding-dong battle with Neil Machin that year.
Did you?
Yeah, man. So the first year I won it 47 points. The second year I got 62 points.
Nice.
Now bearing in mind it's only 4 for a win. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of points.
A lot of matches to fish.
Yeah, but more commercials. It was definitely more commercially this year. It was like 7 or 8 venues, different venues, that's all. Whereas the first year was 14. I remember having one match in particular with Neil on the Brewster's Canal at Cudmore. He'd not drawn so well, peg 2, and I'd drawn a right chub peg on peg 4. My favourite style of fishing. Blasted some
You don't
casters.
like chub though, do you?
No, the rubbish fish. Like, overrated. Don't fish with chub still.
All right,
Rubbish.
no
So I've just like done a dead light rig, like a nice like 3BH canty through the water, and I've caught 48 pounds of chub. Young Connor come and sat behind me.
Connor Barlow?
Yeah, he must have only been about 2.
Wow.
I'd been a bit older. I remember him coming sitting behind me because Mickey was on Suez up on the
Mick
other leg.
used to fish Cudmore a lot, didn't he?
Yeah.
His
Oh,
dad,
yeah.
yeah.
That's all got. Mickey's name's on that quite a few times.
Is it?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Because they used to go down to like probably 12th place or something like that, 12th, 14th place. I'd love to know where that trophy is.
Someone knows.
Um,
Comment below,
yeah,
folks,
I
if
don't-
anyone does know
I don't know who's
anything
got
about
it
it.
because obviously it's disbanded now.
Let us know. Let
Mick,
us know.
Mick Reed was the last person I know to have it. That was going back. I want to say it's like 10 years ago, probably, mate. 8 or 10 years ago.
Be interesting to find it.
But yeah, no, that match on Bruce's Ding Dong Battle with Neil. That's when I started creeping ahead. And I, eventually won it with 62 points. I think 56 points a second that year. I can't remember who was second that year. But yeah, no, it was an amazing feeling. And again, from there, you just keep pushing. And then obviously coming to the third year, so 2002 to 2003 season, just started all over again. But by this time, Matt, hardly any natural waters, mate.
Really? And
was-
it's changed that much in that short space of
It
time?
was either Woodlands at Thirsk. I can vividly remember again. Vividly remember another one of these. I went 3 weekends, Saturday, Sunday, on the run when it was cold up to Thirsk.
How far's Thirst for you?
2 hours 10 minutes.
Long way to travel.
Oh mate, so it's like, what is it? It's like 200 and whatever mile round trip. So 2 weekends, 6 matches. No, 3 weekends, 6 matches. So yeah, 3 weekends, 6 matches. I blanked every time. But that was what I wanted to do. Yeah, I went Thirsk, blanked every time. But
Six matches in a row?
Yeah, it's like literally that winter fishing. That's when Dean Smith really started doing well.
Oh, it's a long way to drive to blank as well.
I can't remember his surname. Mark. There's another lad
Calvert,
up there. No, not Mark Calvert. Another Mark. I can't remember. Darryl Taylor as well. He was doing well in it.
Yeah.
So it's all like the Yorkshire lot who were doing really well that year. And I used to go to the Oaks as well. Cudmore had just stopped getting a 50. Wasn't really getting many 50s. Brookside wasn't getting any 50s. Herringbrook could still get the odd one, but it was all about the Oaks and First, travelling up there all the time. And then occasionally going to the 7, something like that, making sure. But yeah, no, it didn't. Well, it put me off a little bit travelling all that time. But it's just, again, I wanted to do it because I wanted to rival Dave. He was the only one who'd done it 3 times.
Dave
running.
Vincent.
Dave Vincent. He's the only one who'd done it 3 times running proper. So me and Dean Smith, we'd ended up drawing on 52 points.
Which is the Yorkshire Dean Smith.
The Yorkshire
from
Dean Smith.
York, basically,
yeah.
Lovely bloke, great
He's
angler.
awesome. What an angler. Just turn his hand to anything. Just like rocks up, wins. He
does well at Whiteacres when he used to go there.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, he's won a festival at Whiteacres, hasn't he?
He used to go on
awesome.
Ooze a lot.
Yeah, he just can do
Brilliant.
it all. Brilliant. Dead laid back, lovely bloke. Apart from when he beat me. But yeah, so we ended up tying on points, 52 points. So it's still a lot of points. But he beat me on outright wins. I think he got like 6 to my 4 or something like that.
No.
But I want to be controversial now. I'm not going to name any names because it's not the kind of person I am. I got 3 points taken off me for a match at Cudmore when there was ice. There was ice on the lake, snow on the ground. I took Joker with me, and I've caught £7 a little perch, and I come second in the match. But there was only 41 fishing. But there was 52 people drawn a peg, pulled the peg number out, wrote the names down, but obviously they'd seen where they'd drawn, gone home.
Got you.
And then someone had come, counted the anglers, they want 50 fish in that, so it never got reinstated, and that did me head in, that proper. So
I bet it upset you that.
It proper upset me, probably did me head in. Daddy May was fuming, never seen Daddy May angry.
Yeah.
Got like a little, like a little stripe in his eye, like, oh, I'm going windmilling. But now...
I would not want to be the receiving
Daddy
end of Daddy May windmilling.
Not one of them. So obviously I got knocked back in second place and I was gutted. I proper did me head in. But I still carried on, the years after. So I put a picture on the other day actually with like 30 plus points, another 40, I got another 30, got a few 20s, so still meant a lot to me, but I didn't chase it as much then.
Right. Amazing achievement though, mate. I'll round the Kamasan chat off by saying...
You better add, mate, 'cause I'll keep going. Do you want to hear some more, Tobes? What time you got to get off, mate?
Huge respect for that. Though.
Cheers,
like as someone who fishes, natural venues, commercials, I appreciate that consistency over...
Yeah.
A variety of venues, a variety of places all throughout the year, loads of different styles. For me, I've got so much respect for that as an angler. So, well done, mate.
I mean,
awesome.
Obviously, the last year it was done, they dropped down to 30 pegs, I think, when Preston's took it over.
Yes.
I think Bagger's got like 120 plus at him and Lee Thornton. I think Lee won it that year and Bagger was second. But it's mad, how it went in the end. You know what I mean? Just like cut right down. It was all commercials then, so.
Let's talk about Fishermania.
Yes.
Because big journey for you. And... definitely hit the pinnacle of it. But where did Fishermania start for Andy May?
So it's again natural waters, Matt. Commercials didn't really come onto the scene for me. So I'm going to say 97 on the Weaver, or it might be 96. I drew a decent peg at Northwich, the one that you were on about before, peg 27 on the cutout.
Got ya.
I've just fished a waggler for the ruds and the cutout, and I've had £14 of rud and I come fourth. I can't remember the name. He's had one big carp.
A carp?
He's had a massive carp. What's it? Liverpool lad. Oh, blooming heck. I can't remember his name, Matt.
Not Pazza.
No, it wasn't Pazza. No, it wasn't Pazza. Bless him. Pete. Oh, mate,
Not
I
Pete
can't
the
remember.
Meat.
No, it wasn't Pete the Meat.
Oh.
I can't remember. But he's had one massive big carp for like £83. It was massive. And it was like, I think it was like £18, but he's had like some bream as well.
Fair play.
So he qualified. But I'd love that style of it. It was awesome. And then I didn't bother with it. Well, I might have bothered with it the year after, but it was on a canal somewhere. I did rubbish. I think that's probably when Daddy Ringer
So you were only doing one qualifier at this point?
Yeah, I wasn't doing
just
loads.
Picked one qualifier?
Just picked one qualifier, local to me.
It's crazy.
It meant a lot, because obviously I'd seen the likes of Steve Ringer, winning it. I'm like, whoa, yeah, that looks good. Then Daddy Ringer as well, you know what I mean? It looked brilliant. And obviously Phil qualifying as well. So then we did another one on the Weaver in 1998. And I drew 185, which is on the red line stretch at Winsford, and I come fifth. That was all like stick float fishing, lovely fishing. I had all my England gear, me like training tracksuit, I had my SI slightly in the water. You know what I mean? Get ready, my foot plate on. It was amazing. So yeah, I come fifth on that one. I had some massive big roach, and then The year it really took off for me was probably 2004. I didn't have a break from fishing, but wasn't really bothered about fish or not. Obviously, I watched it on telly. But 2004, I can remember me and Daddy May, we travelled up to the Oaks. We both got a ticket. And my dad drew like if you could imagine a peg, the seed had not long been dug, to be fair. And he drew an M peg with like 316 spare pegs to his right. He
Daddy
literally
May.
had no one next to him. And he won a qualifier.
So he was in Fisho before
He
you?
was in Fisher before me. I'm sure I was second. I might have been third, but I'm sure I was second. From like the bend, I've had some big ids and what have you. But yeah, Daddy May's qualified.
Just for them listening, ids.
Oh, ids. Sorry, I'd folks.
Yeah.
Ids, though, innit? Ids. Go on, ids. So Daddy May's qualified before me. So I went and sat behind him on the final. It was a year. Mark Jones won it. He's only had like 17 kilo.
Yeah.
But like, that was my first taste of it. Then I'm like, yes, I've got to get here. Kieran,
How did Daddy May do then?
Not so good.
But you sat with him.
That's probably why I didn't do any good, Matt. Sorry, Dad. I may or may not have had a few Carlins the night before, to be fair. I can't see. But yeah, no, Daddy made it. I think he only had like 3 fish. It was when, remember the candle? That candle method.
Yeah, they used to wrap the hook
When he
length
mentioned
in bread.
candle, I was like,
Yeah.
what, they're actually using a candle, Dad? Yeah. No, they're not using they're putting a little bit of elastic through it and all that. Oh, right, okay. But yeah, no, we'd never fished that style before or anything like that. So he's come, I think he's only had 3 fish. He's like, he was well down. But that's when it proper took off for me. Love that. So I started going in. I probably do 2, 3, 4 qualifiers a year after that. So it was always at Hayfield. And the year it moved to Cudmore in 2008, that was the year I qualified.
And where did you qualify?
I qualified at Woodlands View. I was on back deans. What's the MPEG on back deans? Is it like front deans, 33?
I don't know it.
Oh,
don't
right,
know
okay.
it.
I'm going to say it's like 32 or 33, the MPEG on front deans. I remember it blowing a gale and everyone saying Worms and Casters won't work. How can Worms and Casters not work? So still then, like, hate pellets. Hated pellet fishing with a passion. F1s had probably just about come on the scene then. So I took a load of worm and casters and I caught like some massive perch, caught some big skimmers, and I've caught some carps up the edge as well.
On worms?
On worms and casters, caught loads of fish. Simon Christian was behind me on back deans, the first peg, I'm going to say 34. And he's like, you've done all right today, Andy. I reckon you'll do it. I'm like, no, surely not. It's going to be one somewhere on carps. And I can remember a camera like being on me, so like I knew I was like doing all right because this camera's like, you know what I mean, in my face, like, hi. So like, yeah, come the way, and I've had 90, 93, 94 pound and 80, 86 pound a second from back deans.
Strapping, brilliant.
Yeah, proper, mate. It's just all like, my net was amazing.
How did it feel getting in final for the first time?
It was, mate, it's like, I don't even think I had a mobile to ring anyone. So I was like that all the way back in my car. Yes, get in. And as soon as I got in, I'm like, them phones that you won't remember them, will you?
Little dial
whiny
thing.
ones like, come on, be quicker. I'm like, come on, be quicker. But yeah, no, I rang everyone when I got in. Like, obviously, Daddy May's well impressed. Obviously, with all my family and everything like that. It was just amazing to get into that final and for it to be at Cudmore as well. For the first time, where it changed, I'm like, how can I fail? I'm at Cudmore, I coach you. How can I fail? It can't possibly.
And how did it go?
Right, so it didn't go. It went all right. So I'll tell you about my bank runner. I can't believe I haven't mentioned him yet. Kieran Rich.
Kieran Rich. He'd do a good podcast, wouldn't he, Kieran?
Mate, you've got to get Kieran on.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have him on.
Absolute legend.
Get him in the notes, Toe.
He's already
got to
down,
get
mate.
Kieran in. He's phenomenal angler. I've learnt so much from him over the years. That stage when we first started chasing the cow, I used to travel with Kieran a lot. Obviously, Whiteacres and all this, that, and the other. Unbelievable angler, really good angler. I couldn't think of anyone better to have behind me than Kieran. We've sorted out a plan to catch these barbels. It was all barbel back then. A barbel at 13 metres, ligging on, you know what I mean, waiting for them and putting this, like, I suppose what you call like a pongo mix, dead stud, you like loads of worm and casters in, wait for it and put your big worm up bait right in the middle of it. Because barbel, when they come in, they want a lot of feed. So I'm going to give it to him, Matt. You know what I mean?
Aggressive.
Get ready. I'm like, can I get some casters in, Kieran? No, not yet. Oh, just 1 or 2. So I'm like, planting some casters in. I've done all right. The way it was that year, there was 16 of us in the final. So it was like 8 and then a massive gap and then another 8.
Yeah.
So obviously the 2 gaps, they were first and second. It went Mick Bull won it. Andy Neal was 3rd. I was 4th. And then the lad on the other side of the gap, I can't remember his blooming name, Matt, but he was 2nd.
Right.
I can't remember his name. Sorry. And I've had, what have I had? I think I've had 16 kilos. Neil Matecham was next to me. And it's the first year I've ever used a puller kit. Never used puller kits before.
Wow.
Now, in this one, Matt, remember there used to be a biggest fish prize, $5,000. Now,
Yeah.
I'd me and my wife would used to get married 2008. We used to get married that year. So I'm thinking, biggest fish prize. Let's go for biggest fish, $5,000. So for like half an hour to go, put a load of bait in, just sat there. Because like Mick Bull, who won it, he was walking away with it. We couldn't catch him up.
Try and win me send 5 bags.
Get 5 bags of sand here, easy case. So like filled it in, floats dip like this. I'm like, ignore. Then it's just gone. Give it a count of 3, Anna. I've only given it a count of 3, man. Well, black eyed just stayed there. I'm like, oh, this is a big one. But I'd only had probably only got 2 minutes left. And obviously,
you have to get it out, don't you?
You've got to get it out,
I always
mate.
forget about
so
that
I've just
in
like,
fish out.
swoosh, pole in a oneer, like that. Got the top kit and just I didn't know what to do. Like, I've never done it. It was all like pull a bung. So I've just like got this elastic and started wrapping my hand like that. Like, what am I doing? And then I'm like, how am I going to get my handle? So I've like let go of that hand. All the elastic's gone back in. I'm like, no, what am I doing? So I'm like, I held my top kit with my left hand, wrapped with my right hand, changed over so I could get my landing net. And I've gone in for, you've seen me, so I've gone in for a scoop.
Will raise and scoop.
Felt it, dinked it, and then this carp's like, what is going on? It's like made a beeline for the island. I'm like, no. And by now there's like 10 seconds left. And then it got down to 5 seconds. I've got it back again. And then I went for another scoop. The hoot is gone. And I've netted a carp. And it was a 16-pound common.
Wow.
And £8 one of the biggest fish.
No.
But it didn't count. But everyone thought, like, my sister's giving it like, yes, he's done it. But no, the hoot had already gone.
£16?
£16. It was a massive big common. I'm like, just had to put it back.
I'd have give it you, mate.
Mate, you know what I mean? Like, lose like that. My wife, she's like, oh, no, that'd pay for the honeymoon and all that.
Lot of money then, isn't it?
Yeah, £5,
£5
mate.
Lot of money
£5.
now.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
mate.
please. I was gutted, mate. Proper gutted.
But you were in the final again.
Yeah, so fast forward to 2012, the second time I was in the final. Funny story about this one, actually. Rooney. I beat Runes, beat our very own Runes into second place. We were both on the canal pool at Herrenbrook. Yeah, the canal pool. I drew like an absolute flyer, like proper peg. Peg 10 on the reeds. I had Daddy made behind me on bridge pool, actually. And I fished dead light that day, Matt. I don't know if you saw, did it?
I remember this day. I remember you telling me about it. Didn't you fish
really
something
light.
like 0.35?
It was 0.30 to 0.25.
Strapping.
So, like, if you're not sure of diameters, Toby, it's like quite heavy to like a little bit lighter. It's like £20 to like £15 line.
Right, okay.
tie you up with it.
Basically, you're fishing into like reeds that are like coming up from like 5 foot. So it's like Norfolk reeds, so they're all like sort of like that thickness in diameter.
Yeah.
And you're fishing in them to get the bites. And it's like little babby F1s. Every now and again are like Big Charlie, the common carp, would come along like, yeah, I'm having it. But like just getting the fishing dead quick. Wait a little bit longer for a bite, because obviously F1 fishing, you know what I mean, a little bit delicate. But I think when you're in reeds, they're not really bothered as much.
Drop the guard, don't they?
Yeah, they do, mate. So I was like putting the bait in. They weren't expecting, gear that heavy. They weren't expecting to get ripped out of their own like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally
you're going
hauled out
straight
there.
in my land. I might not even use a landing net on you, mate. I might just swing you in. Thump, dink. So I've had like 67 kilo. I think Rune's had like 40 kilo. He's caught some barbels down by the bridge.
You battered him,
Done
really,
him.
haven't you?
I don't like to say, but yeah, sorry, Runes. So again, I drew. Do you know where I drew on the final, Matt? I drew the peg where I take everyone coaching. I take everyone coaching on peg 16 on Arena.
Yeah.
And I drew that same peg.
Back at Cudmore, aren't we now? Yeah.
So it's something like peg 7 or 8, fish or peg on the day. I'm like, how can I fail? How
Did you really fancy it?
Mate, honestly, my coaching peg. But I'm not going to say I hadn't planned for it, but I hadn't planned for it, Matt. The temperature, it'd been like a 15-degree drop from the day before. It went freezing cold. Simon Christian drew to my left, and who else? Everyone was in it. Jay was in it. Everyone was in it. Loads of good anglers. Neil Matecham was in it. I think Darren Cox was in it. A lot of good anglers in it. And yeah, I fished the same as what I did in 2008. So I went for the barbel. Started off on a method, nothing on that. Went for the barbel. I just couldn't get a bite on anything. I ended up, this is mid-fisho, making a rig up to try and catch everything.
Wow.
Like dead light, 010, try and catch everything. I caught some little roach and skimmers, but it was horrendous.
Just because of that temperature plunge.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. I mean, I wasn't fishing heavy. It was like 0.12 or 0.14. It wasn't wasn't heavy, like loads of colour in the water, but I just wasn't ready for it. Si's done really well to my life. He comes second overall, like next peg to me, just fishing a bomber meat, catching the odd barbel. And it was the year Shane Atkin won it when Adam Richards was behind him. So obviously that's his first like major match. Just like rocked up, won. Like, well, it's easy this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop fishing now. But yeah, I finished 15th out of 16.
Wow.
I literally couldn't get a bite.
On your coaching peg.
Couldn't get a bite.
It just
anywhere.
shows though, it happens.
It's because Daddy May was sat with me. I think Kieran must have been in the final because he wasn't sat with me that year. Daddy May, blame him. Just blame him.
Talk to me about third time.
Third time lucky and all that, innit? You know what I mean?
Let me blow my nose first.
Oh, go ahead.
I need a little nose
Go
blow.
ahead, Matt. Go on.
This is what sat in the cold at Psych House Fisheries
Mate.
for a day, just to you.
Need some proper
You ready?
clothing, innit?
I don't know if this will go in or not.
I'm leaving it in, mate. I'm
We're
sorry.
leaving it in,
Just
aren't
leave
we
it
are,
in.
yeah.
Go on. Get it away.
Christmas
I
special.
was going to
Mate.
say, it's not Christmas that cold, is it?
No, is it, El? No, not at all.
Really weird as well. I've lost my sense of taste and smell recently.
Don't you dare, Matthew. Don't
I'm
you
only
dare.
kidding. It's just a cold.
Tasted that cream egg
You
before,
feel
didn't you?
bad coughing now, though, or blowing your nose,
No,
don't
you do, don't you? Yeah.
If you cough in Morrison's, everyone's scarping.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, I do it in draw queue, me, nah.
Do you?
If I'm a bit
Get
far
everyone
back,
out of the
I
way.
just go and they all move.
Get a bit
to
further
front,
up.
Yeah.
Dirty tactics, that, Matt. Like it, though, mate. Like that.
Right, so, excuse me for that.
Go on,
It's
mate.
very authentic, this podcast, isn't it? Just as it
Shows how
happens.
really it is, doesn't it?
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, Mum.
Cudmore.
Yeah, brilliant. Just yeah, right. So let's go through from qualifying. We qualified at Partridge, drew 101 on Covey 5. Now, this was the first year they brought in the semi-final, Matt.
Ah, I
And it
remember
was
this.
I'm not going to say it's the first year they had two go through because they used to have two go through from natural venues right back in the day.
Yes.
When they were like 1,218 pegs, you know what I mean? Massive matches. But this is the first time that they've done it like recently, if you like. Allowed two to go through. So I come second. Fisky won it on Covey 6, 150 odd pound. And I've had 100 Ben Fisk, yeah. I've had 114 pound, and I think Johnny Arthur's like had 113 pound.
Ooh, just nicked
Just
him.
done him, and I've had one right at the end as well. Literally 2 seconds to go. Sorry, John.
Not rubbing it in there, John.
Might have been 1 second to go. In fact, I might have had it on after all out and netted it after. So we got through, and then we had this semi-final, and it was just... I don't get nervous in fishing, Matt, because it is what it is. It's wild animals and it's elements. You can't do anything about it. It's out of your control. But this is the first time I've ever been nervous.
Right.
In fishing,
I don't see you as nervous at all.
Mate, it was horrible because you go and practice on. So there's 3 lakes, obviously, Arena where the final was. You'd have to practice on there just in case you made it. And then you had Suez and Moors. This is all at Cudmore again. And you had to practice on them all. So you had to practice, because Suez was different to Moors and vice versa, and then Arena was completely different. Back then, just before, they'd had like loads of little stockies gone in. So obviously we thought we were all fishing for like big fish, and then 2 weeks before they put loads of little stockies in.
Wow.
So me and I've got to mention the bagger, Andy Bennett, legend. I couldn't think of anyone better to ask than to have him sat with me. Just ridiculous.
Did he come practicing with you as well?
Yeah, of course.
Fair play. What a team.
Oh,
That's
mate,
frightening,
just-
that.
So we went on the Arena just after they put these little carp in, and Bagger's like, balls of slop. I fished balls of slop a few times. I'm like, ain't no one going to be feeding them at 13 metres, is there? And he's like, nah. No, Babby. So I'm feeding little balls of slop at 13, and like quite a few lads had come round by then. This is when we went on the Arena. Quite a few lads had come round then. So he was in it that year. Les Marshall, Fleming Heck, Kerry Kirkwood, loads of lads.
Stu Fotheringham were in it that year.
Stu. But as I said, there was 32 that qualified.
Yeah.
Now, normally, obviously, when you qualified, it's like, yeah. But this year, we're like, oh, I've got to get through the semi. So it's like a bit of a downer, really. I'm rewinding and fast forwarding, aren't I? I'm going back, and I'm going forward, I'm going back and forwards. So we get onto the Arena, little balls of slop. I was feeding them at 13. A few lads have come round. They're like, oh, have you seen how Andy's catching? Can't bloody feed that ground bait out there. I'm like, yeah, boy, go further if you want. So I've done one at like 18 metres. And then I've seen, I can't remember who it was, but he's like walked off and then gone and told a load of people up on Moors and Suez, Andy's feeding balls of ground bait to the far bank. Then everyone else has come down then. So me and Baggy were like, right, everyone's watching this now, let's pack up. But we got something sorted. Literally, ball of slop, flop it in it, that's it, it go.
Catching these little
Instantly.
little stockies.
Little babby F1s and little carps, only like probably 2 or 3 to the pound, not even that. But there's loads of little hiding, little barbels, little tents, there's all sorts in. It suited me perfect, to be fair. You know what I mean? My style of fishing, but we had to get there first. So let's rewind again. So we go back to like Susan Moore's, practiced on them. On the semi-final, Matt, I drew peg 4 on Suey's.
Happy?
Yeah, so it was like the 2 out of your 4 that went through. So it's like groups of 4, and it was the top 2 out of them 4
Yeah,
that
like
went
mini
through to the final.
sections.
Yeah, little mini. That's what I wanted to get. You make it sound so easy. Little mini sections, yeah. That's exactly what it was. So like I've had, I'm forgetting everyone's name. Robbie Minikin. He was on peg 2, the first peg. Then it was me, and then I'm not even going to remember the names. I can't remember it, so I'm sorry. Robbie won on the best of pegs. I was on a better peg, but then they were better as you got to my right. So fishing away there, baggers come to me. First thing he said, "What is that rig you've got on there?" Like, my rig was horrendous apparently, but I used to love fishing them. You know what I mean? Like little wire stem 4x14 floats, fishing on the mud line. Completely wrong. It's not like the ones he fishes now. You know what I mean? With the glass stem. No, nothing like that. So I got shouted at for that. But bearing in mind, I'm halfway through the blooming match now.
Cheers for telling him before, bagger.
Well, it's one of them.
Could have helped you out earlier, couldn't
he's
he?
a busy lad. Well, to be fair to him, I'd told him I got it sorted. I was so confident in Suey's and Moors. It's my style of fishing, casters through the water or on moors, and then Suey's fishing, against the mud bank, and then large portions of casters down the middle for shallow. So I caught a few, and then I kept looking back at Bagger, and I was like, what's he doing? He was tying me some hooks, because he's like that confident that I'd get through to the final. He was tying me some airy hooks
Get away.
for the shallow fishing. I'm like, you'll do for me, Bagger. And all
So
the
you're
time,
fishing
like,
the semi-final before you've even qualified. Bagger's tying your hooks
is
for the
like
next day behind you.
2 hours in, he was like that confident. I'm like, mate, we've only just started, haven't you? Had like 3 or 4 carp, some little babby tension. It's like, nah, you'll do for me, babby. And like a few days before it, I'd kept joking to him like, "Oh, we won it yet, babby? Won it, haven't we?" And he's like all the time saying, "Not yet, babby. Not won it yet, babby." So this is the theme that runs through it. So comes the all out. Robbie's had 12 kilo. I've had 18 kilo, and then there was a 10 kilo and 11 kilo. So me and Robbie have got through.
Fantastic.
And I won the match. Won all
Did
the
ya?
Sueys and won all the Moors with 18 kilos.
So you won the semi-final.
Won the semi-final.
Well done.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. So I've caught a few on casters down the middle, shallow, caught a few on the bottom, and then Baggers, put me right. I've had a few like bow wave out of the peg. I look back at Baggers like, "Bring it back, feed again." I'm like, "Sorry." So like, come back, fed again. Like, thump's got one. I've had one snap me on all out, but it didn't matter. So we get through to the draw, which just went straight to, and I drew peg 5, Matt. If I could have drawn anywhere, I wanted 2 to 6. So out comes peg 5. I'm like, yeah. And I did it. I think Rich has got somewhere. I did this talk, and I was so confident. It like comes across how confident I was. I'm like, yeah, I ain't going to get beat from there. But did forecast a lot of wind. So there's a few lads coming up to say, "You ain't going to feed your balls of slop out at 30 metres now, are you?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, we'll give it a go. I wasn't planning on the wind being as strong as what it was. It was like it's blowing a gale, sort of like not left to right, not right in my face. That sort of an angle.
Got you.
You know what I mean? So it's blowing in perfect. I knew I was going to fish short, worms and casters, but main line was always going to be this balls of slop with a pellet over it. So come the day of the match, we had a bit of a plan. Start off short and then obviously go long. So I've caught a few fish short, but there's loads of fish there. I was foul looking a few, missing a few bites and that. And then Andy's had a word like, "Will you sort your feeding out and stop blooming feeding them casters?" So I was like, hook one, like getting loads of casters in. And I was like, "Andy, will you stop putting them casters in?" So he's calmed me down and he's like, showing me this trick of like feeding a little tiny ball and sneaking it in so there's no like segments or anything coming off it. And he's like, "Will you stop tapping it in from a height? Because you're joining off the bottom, like doing everything wrong." But I was just getting so giddy.
Were he helping you though? Were he
Oh yeah, of course he was.
Yeah,
mate,
yeah.
It's bagger, innit? It's just like having someone like him next to you. Just like, I wish you could fish every match for me, mate. You know what I mean? It was so good. So hour and a half in, I'm doing well. Kerry Kirkwood, he's drawn at the side of me. He's beat me by now. He's had an edge swim. I haven't even put an edge swim in. I'm like, you ain't going to catch down the edge. But he's had like some big skimmers down the edge.
Right.
And me and Bagger are like, no, we're not doing that. So we're still concentrating on 7 metre swim and out long. So 90 minutes in, I could see him swirling on my ground bait. So I'm like, right, get ready. And I've gone, why did it? I don't know. I went to 14.5 rather than 13. No one else was fishing long pole, but I thought I'd just like try and be clever and just go further than anyone anyway. And I wasn't a problem holding it, but it was that you'd throw your bait in, slap it over, but if you didn't like hold it still in the boat, you wouldn't get a bite.
Got you.
So I've thrown it, slapped it, missed a bite. Thrown it, slapped it, had one. It fell off. Done it again, and then the winds just got up too strong. There was a lot of fish there. So we both decided...
It's quite physical fishing, that, Andy. 14
Yeah.
and a half metres in a wind, trying
Yes.
to fish shallow, throwing balls of ground bait
It
in.
was, but I love it. I love that style of fishing, like aggressive fishing, feeding. I've done that like sloppy... It sounds wrong, but sloppy balls. I've done that kind
I
of...
love sloppy balls.
I tried not to laugh.
It sounds a bit wrong that tells, doesn't it? You know what I mean? I've done that style of fishing lots. So I love it. You know what I mean? That long sort of like ground bait feed. I love it. So we've both decided, well, no, I'm not going to say both decided. He's decided, Andy, get rid of that line, just stay short. There's that many fish there. At the end, like last hour, I've taken a section off. There was so many fish there. I was still far looking odd one because I was feeding it wrong, getting too giddy. But then by that time, Andy's just like, oh, just get on with it. Just do what you want. I'm like, can I feed? So I'm just like putting more casters in, getting a few on the drop and all that. And I can remember catching a Charlie Chub about 12 ounce, bestest fish in the world, giving it a big kiss, and I caught a big skimmer, give that a kiss, and then the hoot is gone. It was just, I suppose going into that last half an hour, because there was no like real big fish in there.
You knew you were ahead.
I knew.
How did
won.
it
It's weird.
feel? How did it feel knowing you were winning and deep down knowing that no one were going to catch you and you're in a competition? And was it 50?
50 grand. First
50
year.
grand.
First year it gone to 50 grand.
50 grand.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
no, pretty much knowing that were yours.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You're enjoying the competition. You got Andy Bennett and crowds behind you.
Just amazing, man.
It's coming.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Again, as I said, I don't get nervous with fishing. The semi-final was horrendous.
Yeah.
Once I threw that, the final, wasn't bothered. Especially where I'd drawn as well. I was so confident about that tactic, the style that I was going to do. I'm like, can't be beat. I know you can go into things overconfident sometimes, but it was just like, yeah, it was amazing. And then going to that last half an hour, because there was no like real big carping or anything, Matt, I knew they couldn't pull it back. I mean, like 3 or 4 big skimmers, but I was still catching, I was still getting bites.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kerry's come second. I've had 27 kilo. I think Kerry had 23 kilos. He was second. You know
So
what I
you're
mean?
quite far ahead considering the
it's like,
size
it's
of
probably
fish.
15 or 20 fish, mate. You know what I mean?
And what were the response when you won? You must. Well, I know you was a popular winner, but
Just amazing. I thought, you know what I mean? Like my catchphrase, oosh.
Yeah.
It's one of them. Like I don't even say it anymore. It does my own editing.
where did it come from?
I do
Ooh?
my own editing at times, Tobbs. You know what I mean?
Celebrity juice.
It must be. It must be. Yeah. Every time my float's gone, I've sort of like given it that, yeah. But then it just went into oosh, and now it's boosh, and I was like, yeah. And I was just like, it just changes every year.
I've died to throw it out because I found it about 10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah,
on then.
boy.
Here's the footage.
Oh, here
What,
we
is this
go.
when he won?
This is
Is
when
this
he
the
won.
bomb?
Get
Is
it on.
Is this when? Yeah, we're going jumping. Got all the chins on me then, folks. Blow me neck.
Baggers there, look. Baggers
Go on,
there.
boy. Yeah, boy. That release of emotion was just ridiculous. There's Chappie.
What a feeling that must be, Andy.
It was amazing. It was so good. Just didn't sink in for ages. And I can remember another vividly remember one. Jamie Hughes coming to me after that, he's saying, right, that's it, get ready for your coaching, it's just going to go nuts now. And yeah, just like lift off.
Really?
After that moment, yeah. After
Double
we won
whammy. Won
Here's Ollie.
Fishermania.
Here's my son Ollie. Blooming neck, he's young now. I can't pick
Look
him
at
up.
the smile.
I can't pick him up like that now. Blooming neck. Look at him there, getting all the wires off because
Them
they know I'm
that, I
going
was going to
jumping
say, them
in.
that are listening,
They know what's
cameraman's
coming
just took
now.
all his microphone off him.
Look at that. You wonder bagger. Oh, mate. So there he is. There's Kieran. So this is Kerry weighing in now. It was just amazing
Well, man,
experience.
genuine question, Andy.
Yeah, man.
And try and answer this as honest as you can, because I get the similar sort of answer for a lot of people. What does mean more for you personally, the money or the title?
Title. Money's amazing. You know what I mean? Of course it is. But it's that title. You know, from like the winners that they've done it before, you're in their shoes kind of thing, aren't you? You know what I mean? You're emanating. It's just, it's the title, mate.
Yeah, Fishermania champion.
Yeah, definitely. No one can take it away
No,
from you.
that's the one everyone talks about. I
Definitely.
say it every time. That's the one my friends who don't go fishing ask me if
Really?
I do that competition. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I mentioned it, Tol, but the Kamasan was the same as well. I've not mentioned the Kamasan much, have I? But that was the same as well. It's the title. You know what I mean? It was just,
Exactly.
it was awesome, mate.
And you talk about you've briefly mentioned there your coaching.
Yeah.
Obviously, you made a decision to stop working full time. Used to work in a bank.
Yeah.
And made the decision to go coaching full time. How did that go?
Right.
That's quite a bold move in life.
Here we go then. So year 11, obviously at school. Excuse me. You go and see a careers advisor. And they're like, well, yeah, have you any idea what you want to do? So I'm just like, I just want to go fishing every day. So I can remember her saying like, well, you never make anything of your life with fishing. And then she signed me up with an agency who got me a job like temping. The first job I got was temping at a place called Fine Art near to where I live, which is like filing.
Yeah.
And then the next one was at Barclays Bank. Again, filing, but doing like the odd bit of, you know what I mean? Mate, me on a keyboard.
Typing numbers in.
Where's the A? Who's pinched the A? Oh, it's over there. Thump. Yeah, that'd be on there. You know what I mean? These digits did everything. And they offered me a job within like 6 weeks I was there, and they offered me a job. I'm like, when you're 16, you're like, oh, this is amazing. Funding all my fishing. Well, my mates were at like college and then eventually uni. I was getting like paid to, now that'd fund me fishing. But obviously, I pretty much... Right, so I pretty much started and finished on the same salary. That's how bad it was, because I didn't want to progress myself. I was useless in the bank. Eventually, like the last 2 years I was there, I was at call centre, and I used to say my name was all sorts. I'm sorry if you've ever spoke to me.
give us a rundown.
Oh, right, so someone would ring up. Hello,
ring.
Right, here we go. Hello, customer services. Paul speaking.
Hi, Paul. I'm looking at putting some money into my account.
Sorry, red button. That was it. Yeah, but because it was like
There's going to be somebody listening to this going, that bugger.
That was him! Right, I'm having him. Because it was call centre, it was literally one after the other. So, like, you ring again, customer services, Richard speaking. I'd just, like, go through it all. I'd have, like, loads of names that I'd pre-written down. And I just used to call me like, yes, I've just been speaking to this lad called Gareth. I'm like, well, I've got no one called Gareth on this. But then he's going, like, Gareth. What did it for me?
No, he's not here, mate. Sorry.
I got a written warning for this. What did it for me? I got a written warning for it because the last 2 years I was there, they used to tape your phone calls.
Like record them.
So I didn't know about this.
Oh, he's got
so obviously I got called in and like, you said your name was, I think it was Gareth. I'm like, yeah, I did. So I got rid of one, so I couldn't get away with that again. So I used to have to go through all the calls, and then I'd be like, because I was so slow at typing, because I wasn't used to it, I'd always be like 7 or 8 calls behind everyone else, because they were like just looking at the screen, because like they'd say what the problem was, and the solution had come up, so you just read it back to him. But by the time I was typing, I'd like get in such of a muddle. I didn't know what I was doing. And everyone else in the team would be like 7 or 8 calls ahead. I was miles behind. I was useless. So needless to say,
bad if they kept you there all that time.
Mate, you know I was. They just used to like stick me in the corner there, just ignore him. Walk past him. I'm like, hi! Walk past him. I think they just used to have me to greet people. So it was, you know what? It was Neil Machin that made the decision for me to go coaching. So I seen he'd done well off it, and Neil Machin's like, he's such an awesome angler. Like he don't go from like 1 month or even 2 months to the next. He'll just rock up somewhere like Ehrenbrook, win, and then he won't go fishing again. He's an awesome angler.
Won Fishermania, won Party Masters final.
He's just won everything, Matt. He's an awesome angler. Lovely bloke. And he started doing his coaching. But he wouldn't really do like natural waters and that. Whereas I'm like, yeah, I can do canals, I can do all that. So like that got me like proper thinking. So I decided to take a year out of the bank and like basically set me coaching up, and I just never went back.
Fantastic.
That was so I was there 10 years. So it was 2007 and 2008 it proper got going.
And it's still going now?
Oh, mate, it's ridiculous.
Busy?
Now.
Good? Going well?
So, yeah, I haven't got anything next year and into 2023.
What, booked up?
Yeah, man.
Well, that ruins my next question of booking you for a session then.
I'd always have room for you, Tom. Don't you worry about that, mate.
How would people go about booking a day's coaching with Andy May?
Just get in touch. Well, yeah, all the obviously social media platforms. I've got my own website, fishingcoaching.co.uk. But yeah, it's so busy. I've got a reserve list. I've got 30 odd on the reserve list. It's just gone phenomenal.
And how many days a week do you do that, Andy?
Every day. So if I'm not doing coaching every day, I'll be obviously filming, winning ways, or doing the features with match fishing. It's just it's awesome. I never, you know what I mean? When you like that, like little squeaky strawberry blonde voice, like teenager, what have you, just looking back and thinking, I never thought I'd be doing it for a living.
What do you think your careers advisor will be listening to this?
I hope so. Proved you wrong, didn't we?
Yeah.
You know what I
Didn't we
mean?
just?
You never make a living
Tell
out of
you
fishing.
what, tell you, but you don't know, do you? I mean, at the time, you're looking at it and like, no, you don't, I suppose, back then.
Really, really happy journey though. Really
just-
nice to hear.
It's like 14 or 15 years full time. It's been amazing, Matt. It's been so good. I just love it.
Can I ask you a couple of questions
Go
about your
ahead.
coaching?
Go ahead.
What's your, out of all them years coaching and doing it, what is your worst memory of a coaching day?
Right,
What's
so
the most disastrous
I
thing that's ever
apologise if
happened?
you're listening, but I'm going to shame you. I'm not going to say names, but basically, we went on the Arena Lake. I'd only been coaching probably 2 or 3 years. Now, I always ask them, we'll have like a brekkie or something like that when I meet them, and I'll always ask them what they want to get out in the day. What you want to target, what kind of fishing do you want to do? So he said, I want to fish open water, just fish for everything. So I'm like, right, we'll go on the Arena, back then, and catch everything, worms and casters, perfect fishing. So we got set up. One of the pegs I always get them to set up so I can see, where they're putting everything, what kind of rigs are going to get out, and what they use. I always give them a rough idea of depth, what fish are in there, so I can see what rigs are bringing out of the box. So he's like, brought these floats out, and I'm like, what are those? No, you're not putting them on. I'm like, well, this is what I normally use. So I'm like, well, that's why you don't catch anything. I didn't say that to him, but I'm like, yeah, well, there's better floats than that. So I explained the situations. It basically got one of them pencil floats out, and it was blowing an absolute gale. Now, I warned him the Arena tows like a river. So I'm like, so we want like a little bit of a body, like, something like a Chianti might be all right, but ideally like a little bit of a body float so you can hold back against it. I'm like, yeah, but these are like cut through, surely. No, they won't. And I explained to him why. So he's like, yeah, but I have me shotting like this. I'm like, well, that's another reason you don't catch out. Massive long gut length, dropper, and then a big bulk up here. So it's basically just like ridding them out of the bottom. So no, you need to get your shots down so we're like fishing real positive. Proper ligging, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get it on,
down
boy.
There.
So he's like, he wasn't having any, he was like arguing with me from the start. So he starts fishing the way I'd fish, and we've had 2 big skimmers, and then we'd had a carp, then it went a bit quiet. He says, it's not really working your rig, is it? Bear in mind, it's only been like 4 or 5 minutes since we had a bite. He says, no, we need to come back, put some more bait in, only 4 or 5 minutes between feeds, get some bait in. Waffling out. I am waffling
I mean,
now.
I'm there. I'm
Mate,
living
you're
the
there.
coaching day.
So,
I feel like I'm sat behind you on a Arena Lake.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
So, put some more bait in, caught another fish, and then it went quiet again. And I said, right, there's big fish moving in, obviously. Caught another fish, big fish moving in now. He said, no, that's shotting. Your shotting's not right. So, bit my tongue. I said, right, put it how you'd have it then. So he's like, slid all his shots up, put it through, not got a bite. I'm like, it's because your shotting's how it is. There's nothing down there, nothing there to hold the fish. The fish can't see where your bait is or anything like that. Nothing to detect a bite. So we went back to doing what I was doing and gone a little bit further down the peg where I thought the bait would be ending up. Thump carp. It's like, they've just turned up for you, haven't they?
Oh, no.
So I give it about another half an hour and it's still on like this. And I said, you know what? Me and you, we ain't going to get on. So give him his money back and just went.
Really?
I'm not that kind of person. I've never ever done anything like that.
I wouldn't have the patience.
I'm biting
in the
my
world.
tongue. I've got angry butterflies listening to it.
I didn't want to go windmilling, Matt. I'm not that kind of person.
Knocked him halfway across the lake.
You know what I mean?
And he's still in the bottom of Arena Lake at Cudmore now.
I'm not saying where he is. There's other lakes there, Matt.
That really deep
That's
one.
that's literally extreme.
Yeah.
It's been the only one out of thousands of sessions that I've done.
Let's flip it on his head.
Go ahead.
What's the most memorable, positive, best coaching day you've had? Any stick out in your mind?
Mate, anyone who gives me a go, basically. So I can remember one on the river in winter. He'd never ever caught a grayling. Caught a few chub and that, but never on a stick float. So I took him to the bestest peg on the world on the River Dane, mate. It's just like willow bushes, big deep glide, and it shallows up at the end. So all these fish are in this deep glide under this willow bush. It's amazing. So we're stood in the river, give it one of them with the maggots, just drop the stick float in, thump, grayling straight away. And he's like, oh, wow. I'm like, yeah, get ready. Catch some more. I probably had 15 shots down. I had 14 grayling in the chub before I give him a go. Because it was that good. I was like, can I have a go, yeah? So I give him a go, and he's caught a chub straight away, £3. And then he's had a big grayling, £1, £1.50. I'm like, right, give us a go, mate. It was just like that all the way through. I just couldn't get enough of it.
You love that sort of fishing, don't you?
Mate, that style of fishing for me is just it just reminds me so much of when I was a kid and going with my dad. He'd set me up with a section of a rod, tie a little bit of line to it, and I'd be fishing for minnows and gudgeon. You know what I mean? Just here. And then my dad would be you know, wading up, like catching big daddy chubs, we used to call them, in this streamer weed and all that. It was just so many memories, mate. It's amazing.
I'm going to be, sorry, mate, I'm going to be cheeky. Can I pick your brains, Andy?
Go on, mate.
Because I'm fishing Sunday,
You
and
head.
this is the coldest I've ever fished in.
Yeah, man.
And the lake where I'm fishing at the moment is, I've noticed, I fished it all summer, or most of kind of end of summer, and it was busy. Since it's getting colder and colder, it's getting less and less busy.
Yeah.
So I think I'm at a point where I need to change maybe my bait or what I'm doing. I noticed that we catch loads of mega carp, like big carp from the edges.
Oh, right, okay.
It wasn't fished for about 8 years. So I think they've all, for all that time, eating naturals out of the edge.
Yeah.
I would imagine. I've been practicing on the bomb quite a bit recently, and I know
You on the bomb?
Yeah.
You on Tops?
and I know in the winter that's quite good.
Yeah.
So, what would you, if I was a student or whatever, how would you tell me to approach my session? I've got about 5 hours on Sunday morning, I think. What bait should I go with, and what kind of approach would you have?
You want like, I mean, I suppose a lot of anglers would tell you like bomb and bread, but personally, I can't stand fishing bread because every time I wind back, it's never on.
Confidence thing, isn't it?
It is a confidence thing. Anything visible, Tom. So like corn, I love fishing corn.
Would you fish corn on like a bomb setup?
Bomb and corn, or like it's what's called a pellet cone. Have you heard of pellet cone before?
No.
So basically, you've got
Guru
like,
make them, Tobe. You should know about.
I mean,
these.
obviously, I've heard of the pellet cone.
Come on, Tom. Of course you have. It's like you've got like a little plastic contraption that you're moulding all these like micros in, and
Okay.
you bait needle it. So you got like your hairy corn on.
Yeah.
Bait needle this and thread it all the way through. You just clip it on, so you got a hook length of like
So it's still a
18,
bomb,
20
but-
inches.
Yeah.
So you got your bum and your bum. Cheeky. What am I thinking of? I do apologise.
I'll be booking you up ASAP, mate.
You've got your
So
bomb.
you've got your bomb, and then you've got your hook length. Obviously, the carp can't see anything. It's
Yes.
not like you're fishing a method.
Yeah.
There's like literally nothing else than like a little tiny pile of micros with your bright visible corn in it.
Awesome.
It's an amazing method this time of year, Tom.
Yeah.
Got to get on it, mate.
And what would you fish? What would you bait over the top of that?
Nothing. Just use that.
Oh, you would just have
yeah,
that?
yeah, definitely. And look for liners, you know what I mean? Don't give it sort of like 40, 50-minute casts. If you're not getting liners within 10 or 15 minutes,
Just give it another.
wind it back, chuck somewhere else.
Yeah.
Don't chuck on the same spot all the time.
That's
Just
the other
chuck
thing
around.
I do. If I find it, because I usually, if I get one early, I think, I'm going to fish there all day now.
You
And then
don't
I'll
need to
get-
Steve Ringer it and be accurate, mate. Just chuck all over the place.
Just
you know what I
go
mean?
for a walkabout.
Get it windmilled. Tom.
There you go. That's
Where
my-
it
that's
goes,
my
nobody
next
knows.
weekend. That is done.
He's going to be typing in the internet pellet cone
Yeah, that's exactly what I
before this podcast finished.
Mate.
I'm telling you now.
Get on them, Tobbs. I've got some women in van.
You have
Yeah.
to put a
will
bill in
do.
for
Thank
that
you,
coaching
Andy.
session. And
Oh, don't you worry.
No,
200 notes, please, mate.
too close to Christmas, mate. Sorry.
On to sort of similar theme to coaching. I want to get this wrapped up. We ain't got too long left now.
Go on, mate.
But one thing I wanted to ask you about before we get wrapped up is winning ways. Something that you do with your good mate Jamie Hughes and of course Richard Chapman.
Yes.
I absolutely love Rich to bits.
He's
I've
awesome.
done some bits
He's
with him.
awesome.
What is winning ways all about, and how did that come around?
So basically, it's like an online tutorial, I suppose, Matt. It basically come around. I'd always sort of like wanted to do something that targets everyone, not just match anglers. So obviously, before we did this, Paul Holland, Andy Bennett, they did the Commercial Masters.
Yeah.
But it's very much match fishing related. You know, heavy emphasis towards match fishing. Whereas I wanted to create something that, you know, everyone can relate to. Pleasure anglers, club anglers, people who've never even fished before. Just go and see what all the fuss is about, just getting out and just doing it. So obviously I spoke to Jay and he's like, no, I'm not working with you. No, he didn't really. Rich was like really keen. So we persuaded Jay and then, it just kicked off. I think we started in 2018, I'm going to say. It's either late.
How long ago it is?
Yeah, 2018. I'm sure we did our first one in like March or April 2018. And it's just gone nuts, mate. Honestly, we can't believe the feedback, especially this year from the fish show. The amount of support we had behind us, even though we both did rubbish. Well, I did better than him, but you know it doesn't matter.
You don't need to mention that you did better than him. Do you?
And Bagger did better than him. He's
Better
on the
than
best
Bagger,
peg in the whole
better
wide
than
world as well.
Jamie.
You know what I mean? But yeah, the support we had, Matt, was phenomenal. And like they were there for winning ways because they'd seen us. I'm like, we get a lot of messages all the time of people who like they don't even fish, especially lockdown. I mean, lockdown obviously it's been horrendous, but you know, from a growth point of view, for us for winning ways, it's just gone nuts, mate.
Yeah, I do want to say, just from me and my mate, who are very beginner anglers, have been watching. I've watched loads of your stuff before you come in today. That's why I was buzzing.
Oh, go on, mate.
But
what would he been like with Jay then?
but it just,
He's got Jamie's tattoo on his back.
I
Yeah,
can
you haven't seen
imagine.
it, it's massive. No, but mate, I just wanted to say for a beginner, it was amazing to watch because it was so nice to see what the crack is about at that level. But
man.
at the same time, it's entertaining and engaging enough to. By the time you don't realise 2 hours have gone, you've watched the entire match and learnt loads as well. It's such a nice platform.
You learn more from Jay, though, to be fair.
Well, I
don't
didn't
you?
want to
Know what I
say
mean?
it.
Yeah, well, no, it's all right, man. I could see where you were going, but no, we'd love doing it, and obviously it's fair. I mean, obviously me and Jay are the presenters, but Rich, he don't get enough credit for what he does, like editing wise. It's just phenomenal, and he puts his like little funnies and all that, any duck noises that you hear. Usually on Jay's point of view, is like a little bit of sweary, naughty words going on. But yeah, he's just phenomenal at what he does.
Yeah, he's
really,
fantastic.
Really yeah, he's brilliant.
It's so good, mate. Like I've said it before on a podcast. I don't like watching fishing content because I'm so saturated by it. We do a podcast, we do all the films for Guru. I don't enjoy watching fishing because I'm so full up of it. But when I'm scrolling through my Instagram or my Facebook and a Winning Ways logo and it pops up,
mate.
I stop every time.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's fantastic.
I think we got that right, mates, because we have a laugh, but then there's, it's a little bit serious as well. You can see what we're doing. You can see with the rigs, and we're like, it's detail. We talk you through what we're doing, but then we have a laugh as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it is literally 3 mates going out. It doesn't feel like it's work because we're doing something that we love doing.
You're in a lucky position to do that,
Oh,
mate.
man, honestly, mate. It's so
brilliant.
good. It's brilliant. We absolutely love it.
Well, keep it up.
Yeah, we will.
And well done for doing it.
Cheers, mate.
Leading on from sort of Winning Ways, something from a personal point of view, I just wanted to ask you before we get into a little bit of fun stuff and get it wrapped up.
Go on, mate.
Like Andy May and you, like you're the character, you're the personality, you're so happy all the time. You're twitching your muscles in front of me now.
Am I?
Sat here. I've seen you do it then.
Ding, 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 ding.
You never stop.
I didn't mean to.
Look.
I'm like, it's just like,
Do your booby ones.
bang, 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 bang,
See
bang.
what I mean?
I didn't like. That's just like, I don't even realise I'm
There you
doing
go.
it.
That's social
My
media
wife will say
training.
like, yeah, that's you doing it all the time. I don't realise I'm doing it.
I just think it's such a good thing, and like people probably don't say it to you. Like that is so important. For
I normally
our
get called
sport.
something else, to be fair, Matt. Yeah.
It is. How is it natural? Or have you got that much energy, and where does it come from?
Yeah, I can't get enough of fishing. My kids and my wife will tell you I'm just like nuts at home. Like, if you follow me on Instagram, then you'll see like some of the disco party nights that we have. Not me and my little girl and my lad and that.
I've seen
It's just,
it.
Oh, mate, that's it. Every
Is that
Friday
your
night.
house?
Yeah,
It's like you're at a disco.
disco party night. So we've got like, we take the bulb out and then we put one of these flashy disco party light ones in. Like, we have the music on blaring. I've had my kitchen done with like disco party lights and everything recently. Oh, mate, love it. But it's fishy. I just can't get enough of it.
Where's the energy come from?
I don't know, mate. I think it's always been there. It just needs to be unleashed, doesn't it, Matt? But I suppose, like, right, so here's the thing. I'll be as jovial and talk to anyone fishing before the match starts. A lot of people will tell you this. As soon as that match starts, that's it. I'm focused. I won't say it. I always said to people, like, right, promise when we start fishing, you'll not hear me. And you don't. You know what I mean? When we're fishing, like, I get proper. Here we go. Go on the disco party nights. I just love it. I can't. There's Leah behind.
That's your house.
Like, I can't not mention our neighbours as well. We've got the best neighbours in the world, and we'll go from one house to the other just having disco party nights.
Love it.
They've
Look
got a
at
better
that.
setup than us. They've got like proper smoke on the go and everything. Amazing.
Can me and Toby come?
Oh,
Can
more
we
than
come?
welcome. More than welcome.
That'd be wicked.
But yeah, so I can go from that to like dead serious in the match. It's weird. It's proper weird. But I just like, oh, mate, I just love
I
it.
just think it's so good, mate. Like, I really do respect it. I think it's a
Cheers,
fantastic
pal.
way to be, and people buzz off your energy and that. And
You know, well, you've known me a long time.
I
haven't
just
you,
don't.
so-
I think sometimes people probably won't tell you that. But while we're on here,
Cheers, mate.
Like for
it's
us,
not. It's not
and
put. You know, it's not put on. You've
Yeah.
seen me away from all this, and you know, it's
I
not.
just
put
wanted
on.
to get that across in front of
Yeah, man.
everyone while they're listening.
A lot of people, yeah, we do get some negative comments, but it's one of them. You know, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but until you meet someone, you can't judge anyone. I don't think.
No.
It's just one of them, isn't it? I'm like this. It's just the way it is.
I don't think you're ever going to
Ask
change.
my
I love
wife. I'll do her heading every single day. Ask my wife. She'll tell you.
it. You've listened to some podcasts, haven't you?
Yeah, mum. Love them.
Quick fire questions at the end.
Go on.
We've got to get these in with Andy May, and I've not teed you up or prepped you for them.
And I've got to be strict because a few people are towing the line a little bit now.
They
with,
are, terribly.
We'll take your first answer and it's got to be quick. There's no.
It's got to be quick.
It's got to be quick.
It's got to be quick.
So
And it
you
can
know-
only be one.
Yeah, why?
You know I like to waffle.
No, mate, none of that. I'm afraid.
Oh dear. Go ahead.
An item in your seat box you couldn't live without. What is it?
I'm going to say my stopwatch because for me everything's all about timings, especially this time of year on ledger bomb. 10-15 minute casts, 8 to 10 minutes between feeds on the pole and that, and then in some it's like 3 to 4 minutes. So yeah, for me it's the watch.
Stopwatch.
Or clock, yeah.
Got you. One venue. If you could only fish one venue for the rest of your life, where would it be?
Riverdale, mate.
Riverdale.
Riverdale, 100% every day of the week. Absolutely. Again, it's memories like fishing there from like really, really young age with my dad. I take my lad there, take my little girl there. Mate, it's one. That's why we live where we do, Matt. Just because it's like 5 minutes walk from the Riverdale.
Awesome.
Just amazing.
Who's the best angler that you've ever fished with? You can only name one.
Will Raisin. 100% Will Raisin. He's just ridiculous.
If you hadn't
Awesome.
already listened to his podcast, folks, that were a belter, that was. Loved it.
Mate, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Just, what an angler.
Mm.
I mean, there's a lot of good anglers, but yeah, Will Raisin for me, just phenomenal. Just do everything. And the way he talks as well, it's like, just makes sense. Like, whereas I'll like waffle and take me like 5 or 10 minutes to get down to what I want to say, he'll say it in a few lines, you know what I mean? Bagger's the same as well.
Yeah, Andy Bennett.
He makes me sick as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're the same as well.
You can only mention one.
Yeah, Will Raisin.
Will Raisin.
But I love you. I love everyone. But yeah, Will Raisin. Sorry, Matt.
If there were one thing you could change about fishing, what would it be?
Right. Definitely rules. So, like, I think commercials, so I'll have one set of rules. What does my head in? And I'll actually not go to the venue because of weight limits on nets. I'm horrendous at, like, weighing fish up. So, like, that's always in the back of your mind. If you go over, like, your net gets disqualified, you get knocked back. I can't be dealing with it. So I think there just should be one set of standard rules for everywhere, for commercials, all in the country, basically. You know what I mean? Summertime, 4 or 5 nets. Split your fish evenly. Wintertime, 2 or 3 nets and just split your fish, whatever. A set of, like, 8-pint limit for bait, whatever. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Just a universal.
So you're not constantly worrying about breaking a rule at a different place. And
last limits and, like, can I have a float on, can't have a float on.
Can you have a shot?
What does it matter if you do? It's like, it's fishing. You go there to catch fish. You don't want to, be worried about rules and this, that and the other. You know what I mean? I think that's my biggest thing, Matt. Fisheries, and they put bans on things. Why would you ban? Because you're going fishing to catch fish. It proper frustrates me.
Really interesting, because Will Raisin had a very similar thing.
Very
he said.
similar.
Yeah, very
okay.
similar. In his podcast, he talked about rules, and he said very similar to you. Let people fish, and go and fish against them how they're fishing and how they want to.
You go fishing to catch fish. Simple as that.
Yeah,
It's like playing football, but you're not allowed to wear your boots.
yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah. If you don't like that certain style of fishing, you don't go there. Simple as that. But don't take it away from others who like that venue, who want to go there. It might be like 5 minutes from an hour. So why would they want to go somewhere like half an hour away? You know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah. If you bumped into someone and they'd never ever been fishing before, and it were your job to give them a bit of inspiration to go and try it, what would you say to them?
Apart from slapping him around the face silly for never going fishing, Matt. Blimey neck, how dare they not?
No, that's the answer there, mate.
Yeah, so I'd slap him a few times and then take him with me. It's just, for me, it's the whole thing, just being out and being in that environment. I'd say, obviously, match fishing point of view, it's all about catching fish, but pleasure fishing, there's not a better way of just getting away from it all and just de-stressing, just being at one with, like, I know it sounds like being at one with nature, just like taking it all in. That's why I love the no float method so much, Matt, because you've been sat there looking around before you're like, doing, you've got a bite. You know what I mean? You've been sat there looking at, look at them boozards up there. There's some deer rocking up over here.
This one's pulled my elastic
Oh, come on, we got a fish on, I better net it. It's just, just get out there, just sample it. It doesn't matter if you catch fish, just get out there. It's just amazing.
Brilliant.
So good.
Absolutely fantastic. Great answers, mate. This is the Fishing Gurus podcast Christmas special.
Codpast.
Codpast. Bum.
Yeah, boy.
Codpast. it can't be a Christmas podcast without us doing a little bit of a giveaway.
Go on, mate.
So I've got in my Santa bag behind me, just here,
Yes.
I've got a little bit of a gift that we're going to give away to someone who's listening. They've got to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, of course.
Absolutely.
Should we say they've got to like and subscribe to Winning Ways?
Yes,
as well?
please. Come on.
Or at
like
least
and
have a look
subscribe.
at it, yeah.
Yes.
No, I think
Um,
that's definitely a like and subscribe to both.
Go
Yeah,
on, Tom.
100%. And if anyone wants to check out your Winning Ways, by the way, we're going to put a link to your page in our description.
All right,
so
nice.
you can have a look
Thank you very
below
much.
this.
Nice one, Matt.
But I've got something to give away.
Go ahead.
I'm sure you've got a bit of something to give away as
It
well.
really is Christmas in here.
It
isn't
is like
It's
really
Christmas.
Christmas jumpers and everything, isn't it?
I'll let you come up with some sort of question that
We-
people have got to answer. They've got to answer below
Right.
whatever Andy's going to ask you, folks. And
So-
I'm just going to get my present to show it you.
Are you?
Yeah.
Right,
Can I
so-
take my headphones off, Tobe?
Yeah, of course you can, mate.
To go and get it.
Yeah.
I reckon.
I've not got my headphones on and I'm in a podcast. I can't hear you.
Can you not hear me?
What?
Yeah, stop it, man. So I reckon I want to know what is the best gift you can think of to give to an angler? The best Christmas gift you can think of to give to an angler, I reckon. How do you reckon to that?
I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah?
it's good, that.
The best, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean? It can be anything. It could be a piece of
Like-
fishing tackle, or
Yeah, obviously fishing. Yeah, a piece of fishing tackle, fishing related.
it could be a coaching day. Who would you like to have a
Who
coaching
would you like to
day
have a coaching day with? Who would you like to angler? Would you like to go for a drink with? Anything like, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like that. Just like,
Nah, that's
yeah.
a good question. That.
with? Special
Yeah.
gift for
Yeah.
Christmas,
Yeah.
fishing related.
So I mean, you just get to it in one, whereas I waffle all the way around. You just go to it in one, don't you?
It's all right.
Cheers,
Let's go and
Matt.
get the
Took
present.
your headphones off, didn't you? Couldn't
Yeah.
listen, could you?
What?
Now what, baby?
What do you reckon? Like me sack?
All right then, mate. Nice
Right.
sack. Large
So-
portions.
For everyone listening and not watching, Matt has got his sack out.
Cheeky. Right colour and all, isn't it, mate?
Right. And the winner, we're gonna have a read through all the comments
Yeah.
and pick what we feel is a really good answer.
Yeah.
And the gift that we're gonna donate to the winner as the overall prize is one of the brand new Aventus
mate,
reels.
nice. What a prize.
275 quid's worth.
Yeah, what, baby?
Brand spanker. You get a spare spool with that as well.
Yeah,
So
what?
They're awesome, they are.
anyone who's answered, and obviously like and subscribe to both Winning Ways
Yes,
and
please.
Tackle Guru. So we'll put that in. And you've got a bit of something as well.
Are you ready?
Go on.
So we've got for the top five, who we saying?
So we're going to give 5 sets of
Five
these
sets
away.
of these of a nice bobby hat, a Winning Ways bobby hat.
Let's have a look.
Go
Can I
on,
put
the
it
bobby
on?
hats.
Can I put it on?
Mate, yeah.
Can I put it
absolutely.
on the headphones, Tony?
Go ahead.
I'm
Proper
going to
warm
take them
then.
off again.
Take 'em off. Oh, that's what, again?
Look at that.
Go on the bobby hats. Can't
Oh,
beat a
wicked
bobby
that,
hat this
that.
time of year,
Look at
can you? Still can't hear that, can you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Now what, Bobby?
You look like you're going
Can
to
you?
DJ at some Christmas rave now.
And bobby hat and Winning Ways cap as well.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
So 5 people will get bobble hat and cap.
Yeah.
An overall winner will
Overall
get
winner will get the
Aventus
reel.
reel as well.
Nice. Like that.
Absolutely awesome.
Go on.
It's Christmas.
While we're on the topic of gifts and to finish off, you can't come on a Christmas special without leaving a bit of something to lay your mark down that you've been here.
Do you know what I wanted to bring? Really wanted to bring?
ASI box.
I wanted to bring
gonna say the
I really wanted to bring you my ASI box, but like, no, I couldn't part with it.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like,
Oh.
no. So
What you got us?
it's a bit special and a bit personal to me, this,
Right.
because it is my Kamasan cap from
No.
the very first time I won,
Wow.
No.
2000 to 2001.
Oh,
So this is
You
this
know
is
you've
the
got
cap.
to leave that
Yeah,
here.
man. Absolutely. I've got another
Andy,
two.
just hold it
Know
up
what I
to
mean?
this camera over here for
That
us,
one?
mate. Yeah.
That's
you
really
go.
special,
Wow.
It's still got like bits of, I think it's skimmer slime on it and everything. I've not worn this one much, to be fair, but yeah, that's what they're having.
Wow.
Very special.
Wow.
Obviously, that's the first year I won it.
Andy, that is one amazing gift.
Mate, yeah, you're more than welcome. Thanks for having me on.
Honestly, thank you
Oh, mate,
very,
really
very much.
enjoyed
it. There.
That's fantastic. Can I have
Go
a
on,
look
mate.
at it? Wow. Tobes, honestly,
Bedded in that, mate.
That's a wicked present.
that's the year that you won
That's
it.
the year I won it.
Wow.
Cool.
These
47
gifts just
points.
keep getting better, don't they? It
Proper,
gave me shivers,
innit?
that one.
Can I smell it?
Mate, smell it.
It smells like Senseless Magic.
It should have a bit of ambre solaire on that, mate. I would have put it on just before I put the hat on.
Wow.
Proper.
That is fantastic.
Mate.
No, thank you, mate. That's
Yeah,
a
you're
mega
welcome.
gift.
Not a
Thank
problem.
you very much.
I've seen
And,
some of the other prize. I'm like, how can I top that? Apart from ASI box.
Mate, awesome.
Hey,
Awesome.
mate.
Wow, I got
problem.
a bit like, ooh,
Yeah.
when,
That.
when that come out then.
Cheeky.
Mate, I've loved every second.
I have.
And
Yeah,
I'll leave
really
it by
enjoyed it today.
everyone who's listened.
I reckon I could have gone on for about another 5 or 6 hours to
Well,
be fair, though.
you're coming back. We're
Oh,
going to do
mate,
another
I'd
one,
love
aren't
to.
we?
I'd
Got no
absolutely
choice,
love
mate.
to.
Of course you're coming
Got to
back.
come back. You got to come back.
Absolutely love to, mate.
Everyone listening, have a fantastic Christmas and New
Yes.
Year, folks. Stay safe. Have a good time. Good luck if you're going out fishing. And Andy, mate, thank you very much, mate. And Merry Christmas.
Go on, mate.
Thank
Merry
you, Andy.
Do you have a
Christmas.
Christmas
Cheers,
hug?
mate.
Yes, come
Come
on,
on then.
cuddles. Come on, Bobby.
Well done, love. Thank you.
You want that?
The Fishing Gurus podcast.